Williams and Artie Owens are back, and it is Williams taking the kick at the 3-yard line. He is over the 10, over the 15, grabbed as he gets to the 20-yard line and driven back, and the first man to him was John Schultz, but he had a lot of help. So the Chargers will start from their 20. We'll take 10 seconds for station identification on the Denver Bronco Network.
14 sportscasts a day keep you informed on KOA.
Second down and 8 for the Chargers from their 22. They're moving from west to east, left to right. A little hazy today. Sun has not broken out completely, and I don't think the temperature has quite reached the predicted high near 80. Very pleasant day in San Diego. Weather's been beautiful the last few days. Both receivers go wide left. Rogers is inside of Joyner. And the handoff is to Woods straight ahead to the 25-yard line. Met by the middle of the Denver defense. First one in was Barney Chavis.
Broncos going with their standard three-man front. As a matter of fact, there are really no changes in the defense. Louis Wright was somewhat of a question mark during the week when he popped his shoulder out. That's a recurring problem with him. However, while it might be sore, he wears a brace on it, and he's out there in the starting lineup at cornerback.
Chargers have put in Joe Washington and Dwight McDonald in the backfield. Take Rogers out of there. Young is the other running back. And Harris on the delay gives the ball to Young. He's got some blocking out over the 29 and pulled down near the 30-yard line. It looks as if he'll be a little short of the first down, though. Ricky Young on that delay action had some good blocking, but he stopped about a yard short. And it will be a 4th and 1, and the Chargers send the punting team out.
Well, a good concept, an idea on that play, as it had Denver's defense really spread out and trying to get Young through the line. They got 4 yards, but not quite enough.
Jeff West is the punter. He's 11th in the conference statistically. Rick Upchurch waits at the Bronco 26-yard line. Chargers at their 29. 4th down and 1. Snap back to West. Kicks a short one, and it will go instead to the 38-yard line and is brought back up to about the 43-yard line by Chris Payne. Kicked it away and short, nowhere near Upchurch. Rick Middleton, 4th-year linebacker from Ohio State, made the tackle. Remember when he came out with Randy Gradishar, and some people said Middleton's the better of the two.
Right. Well, the Broncos got good field position on that punt after the kickoff. San Diego failing to move from their 20-yard line. Let's see what Denver's offense can do.
Broncos are starting with a double tight end as Egloff has come into the lineup. Perrin and Armstrong in the eye. Moses wide to the right side. And the handoff is to Armstrong. Starting left, cuts behind Howard and gets to about the 47, maybe the 48-yard line.
Give to number 24, Otis Armstrong.
Louis Kelcher was the one who made the tackle as Armstrong gets close to 5 yards on first down. 2nd and 5, and that's the reaction to Lou.
5 yards.
Fine defensive lineman. Big advantage for the Chargers on sacks. They've gotten to the quarterback 28 times, while their quarterbacks have been sacked only 12. Denver is a -2 on sacks. They have 25, but the Denver quarterbacks have gone down 27 times. 2 wide receivers now, 2nd and 5 from the 48-yard line. Morton rolling to the right, and the pass is batted down. It was intended for Perrin coming out of the backfield, and Leroy Jones, 6'8", 274, second-year man from Norfolk State, swatted it away.
Bob, while we have a moment, the Cleveland Browns really coming back. Pittsburgh had a big lead over Cleveland, but it's still in the 4th period, and now it's 35-31. Steelers leading by only 4, as the Browns have staged a real big comeback with a couple of touchdowns. It was 35-17 earlier in the 4th period.
In fact, it was 35-10.
Right.
Now 3rd and 5. Odoms in motion for Denver, and Morton's pass is to Odoms, incomplete, a flag on the play. Odoms jumping for the ball at the Charger 45, backing up Mike Fuller, but there was a flag And it may be procedure on the Broncos because Odom started in motion, turned and headed upfield, and I think maybe just a split second too soon.
Right, it is motion. That's the ruling, and San Diego obviously will decline.
So Douglas Dilts will punt. He did say that's what it is, didn't he?
That's what he said. Mike Fuller is deep for San Diego.
And now Pete Shaw goes back, but Fuller at the 15-yard line. Dilts is 6th in gross punting yardage, but 3rd in net. Gets a bit of a high snap. Hangs it up. And it will be taken by Fuller at the 17-yard line, coming across the 20 to the right to the 25 near the 30, and tackled from behind by Chris Payne. And we have people milling around.
And Norris Weiss was in the middle of that, too.
33-yard punt by number 10, Bucky Bill.
But a timeout is called. It's San Diego's ball from the 30-yard line. No, now they've decided not to call a timeout. Started to give the signal and then backed off. So the Chargers from the 30, 11:50 to play in a scoreless first quarter. There's Bo Matthews for the first time.
They have a real stable of running backs.
Oh, do they? Matthews and Washington. Rogers wide to the right, Joyner left. Handoff is this time to Washington. Hole in the middle, and he's across the 35 out to the 37-yard line. Put down by Billy Thompson.
A 7-yard gain for number 24, Joe.
Well, it looks like the Chargers are going to be intent on establishing that rushing game against Denver, and so far have not thrown a pass. They've had 4 rushing plays.
Take Bo Matthews out of the lineup. They've been making a couple of changes. Dwight McDonald has come in. Rogers is out. McDonald is wide to the right. Woods is back for Matthews. McDonald starts in motion from right to left, and the handoff is to Washington, pulled down for no gain by Tom Jackson. As he started to the right, Jackson curled around from the other side and makes the tackle, and now instead of 2nd and 3, it is 3rd and 3, and obviously Larry Jackson saw something in that play that he'd earlier seen on film. He read it perfectly.
He certainly did. Washington, of course, from Oklahoma last year, spent most of the season on the inactive list because of an injury and an operation on the knee, and has not really played a great deal this year, but he played well against Detroit last week.
3rd down and 3. Rogers is back. Klein starts in motion. Harris wants to throw. He does into the left flat, and it'll be a loss as Gradishar is there to make an immediate tackle on Washington. He caught the ball behind the 35-yard line. The play opened up in slow motion, and Gradishar was there to make the tackle for about a 3-yard loss. 4th down and 6. Chargers at their own 34.
Good protection on Harris, and that looked like that was the secondary receiver. He looked downfield and couldn't find anything there and just flipped it out to Washington, who was flaring out.
Upchurch waits at the Denver 27. West will punt from the 20-yard line. Gets a high snap and drives one back to Upchurch at the 23, 25, trying to go outside, 30, 35, and pulled down along the far side at the 35-yard line. Tackle is by Hal Stringert. So the Broncos in their second possession will start from the 35. Denver's inactives today are John Keyworth and Larry Riley.
Officially a 42-yard punt for number 80, Jeff.
The inactives for San Diego are Cliff Olander and Larry Barnes. Barnes, a rookie running back. Olander, a hyphenated punter and quarterback. Denver with a double tight end from the 35. Moses starts in motion from the right. Pitch out is to Armstrong, going to the right, and he'll go about 3 yards to the 38. Gang tackled. A flag on the play. Flag on the play. Maybe Moses didn't stop in time.
Well, they're pointing to Denver. Personal foul.
Crackback block, Larry.
Crackback block, yes.
Crackback block is the signal we're getting. So the Broncos will watch the penalty stepped off. 10, 15, back to the 20-yard line. No score. 9:37 left in the first quarter.
Bob Bob, the Pittsburgh-Cleveland game is final. The Steelers 35 and the Browns 31. Baltimore has defeated Buffalo 31-13. Seattle 17-0 over the Jets.
1st and 25 for Denver as Moses and Upchurch are wide to the left side. Perrin and Armstrong, the running backs, starting from the 20-yard line after the penalty. And Morton starts to roll, pitches it back, and Perrin will be thrown for a loss. The ball hops away. The Chargers pick it up inside the 10, advance it to the goal line, and go in for a touchdown. The ball was recovered by Freddie Dean and Louis Kelcher, and it was a live ball all the way and is taken in for a touchdown, and the Charger defense has given San Diego a 6-0 lead.
Bob, it was Dean all the way. Dean made the hit on Otis Armstrong, and the ball popped loose as he really came through there. Also coming through to help out on the play was Mike Fuller. It was Kelcher who picked it up. He started to advance it. He dropped the ball. Dean picked it up, and then Dean went stumbling his way into the end zone. So Dean made the hit, forced the fumble, but now the officials are having a discussion down around where he picked up the ball at the 11-yard line. Nope, now they say it's a touchdown. There was some question. The Broncos were questioning it. Defensive captain Billy Thompson was over there. So was Tom Jackson, and there was a big discussion going on, and now they indicated it is a touchdown.
So it is a touchdown. Fumble recovery by Dean. Manershka will attempt the extra point. Mike Fuller is the holder. Ball is down, and Manershka's kick is good. 9:27 left in the first quarter, and a timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
To a lot of people, coal conjures up the image of pot-bellied stoves and the old days before natural gas heating. But the fact is that coal is a crucial part of our energy future. Why? Because 1.5 trillion tons of coal, almost 1/3 of the Earth's total supply, is right here in the United States. And that represents more energy than all of the oil in the Middle East. With other traditional sources of energy becoming less dependable and more expensive, we all need energy solutions we can rely on. It's true there are a lot of promising technologies we all hope will provide new and plentiful sources of energy in the future. But that takes time. Time to perfect technology, time to make it economically feasible, time to build new facilities. But our way of life literally depends on having enough energy. We must have answers for today's needs as well as tomorrow's. And that's why we at Public Service Company are glad there's plenty of coal around. Without it, we couldn't provide the energy you need for the life you lead.
Well, here it's now San Diego 7-0. Let's review the other scores. Oakland has kicked a field goal in Oakland and leads Houston by the score of 3-0. That's in the first period. Baltimore 31, Buffalo 13. Pittsburgh beat Cleveland 35-31. Miami 17 and New England 5.
Manershka up to the football, kicks it low with Upchurch back. He takes it on the run at the 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, heading to the sidelines. Flags all over the field as he goes out of bounds, but there will be a clipping on the Broncos around the 30-yard line. And Denver is starting off, Larry, as their own worst enemy in this ball game. Last week, San Diego couldn't move the ball on offense past the Detroit 30-yard line. Now the Broncos fumble inside the 15, and Dean recovers to score for a touchdown. And here, after Upchurch gets a return to the 37, there's a clip at the 30 that'll take it all the way back to the 15-yard line, and that's where the Broncos will start.
All right, and then they had a crackback block that set them back to the 20-yard line in that previous series where they fumbled. And we have holding as the indication on the kickoff return. That sets it back to the 15-yard line where it's 1st and 10.
Double tight end. Moses wide right. Armstrong and Perrin the running backs. Moses starts in motion, and the handoff. Armstrong heading left, cuts back behind the block, gets out only a yard or two to the 17, and then is thrown back by Woodrow Lowe. And friends, gain of 2, and it is 2nd down and 8 from the 17 for Denver.
It's also interesting to note, Bob, that this is the first points that San Diego has gotten on Denver in a couple of years. Denver shut them out both times last year.
And the Chargers, of course, were shut out last week. They have had trouble scoring in recent games. They had 30 points in 3 games. 2nd and 8. Moses in motion. Quick passes to Dalbin at the 15, 20, 25, and out of bounds. Across the 26 near the 27-yard line. Clarence Duran, the safety, angled him out. But it should be a first down, the first of the ball game for the Broncos at the 27-yard line. Upchurch replaces Dalbin.
First down, Denver.
It's the isolation pass. Dalbin just drops a step behind the line of scrimmage, and little play action fake out there by Morton, and he just wheels and throws, and it worked.
There's a new Bronco in the game, Henry Allison, 6'3", 263, 5-year man from San Diego State. He's on the bench right now. Perrin starts wide right across the 35, drives near the 37, out of bounds at the 38. He should have another first down. Lonnie Perrin for 11. Run out by Mike Woods, the cornerback. And Denver has 2 good runs to the flanks. One left and one right, because Dalbin's was all run, really. He caught the ball behind the line of scrimmage.
Kansas City's leading Chicago 17-0 in the second period, and Los Angeles leads Green Bay 17-0 in the third.
From the 38, Moses left and Dalbin right for Denver. And a handoff to Perrin, going to the right side again over the 40, 42, 45. And where did he go out of bounds? 46-yard line in front of the Denver bench on the far side. Duran makes the play. So Perrin on successive downs gets 11 and 8, and now Denver has a 2nd and 2 at their own 46.
And the Broncos are really trying the flanks of this San Diego defense. As we mentioned in the pregame show, while this team is up among the better defensive teams, they are 11th against the rush. They're first against the pass.
Well, Red Miller said on the pregame show that the Broncos felt there were some things you could do against this tee-off and come San Diego pass rush. They really come at you with a hard charge, but that lets you do some other things. The fake by Morton on 2nd and 2, lots of time, and he throws the ball over Odoms and out of bounds at the 45 far side of the field. And was Haven Moses, open deep.
Coverage on the play.
Mike Williams was defending on the play, but it certainly was, I don't know whether it got away from Craig or whether he saw things breaking down. And you know, Morton has made that statement so many times, I don't want to make a mistake. And he's only made 3 of them as far as interceptions are concerned this year. And that's the thing that he concentrates on. He'd rather throw it away or take the loss rather than throw it up for grabs.
Now from the 46, Broncos send both receivers left on 3rd down and 2. Stay with Armstrong and Perrin. And the handoff is to Armstrong in the middle over the 50 into the Charger 45-yard line. Another Denver first down. Mike Fuller, the safety, makes the tackle there. And the Broncos have moved from their own 15 to the Charger 45. San Diego leads 7-0. Fumble recovery by Fred Dean, taken in for the touchdown. Moses left, Upchurch right. To Perrin. Perrin heading to the right side. Tries to cut back in and goes to the 42. Got a block from Armstrong. Cut behind it. And Louis Kelcher makes the tackle after a gain of 3. 2nd down and 7 for the Broncos at the 42.
He also had a good block over on that side from Claudie Miner and also from Montler, who had come across to open up a little bit of a hole for him. Continuing with a couple of other scores now that we haven't given you earlier. 17-14, Washington beat Philadelphia. Atlanta has defeated Detroit 17-6.
Double tight end. Moses starts in motion from the right, and the handoff is to Perrin in the middle for only a yard or so. Goes to the 41, and Kelcher again. Kelcher 6'5", 282, 3-year man from SMU. He played well against Denver in those 2 ball games last year, and San Diego is putting together a fine defensive line. They stay with a front 4. And here the Broncos are looking at a 3rd and 6 at the Charger 41. 6:05 to play in the first quarter. 7-0 San Diego. Dalbin left. Moses right on 3rd down 6. And there is movement in the line as flags are down. Morton throws a screen, incomplete, intended for Perrin at the 40. But it looks as if San Diego came into the neutral zone, and we'll see whether they were drawn offside.
San Diego clearly violated the neutral zone at the line of scrimmage. But as Bob said, it remains to be seen whether something happened on the Denver side to bring them in, and it's not right. It's San Diego's penalty, says the official with a preliminary indication. Will not give Denver a first down, but it'll sure put them closer.
Egloff is back. He's played quite a bit already in that double tight end. Call the incursion on Gary Johnson. Another big one in that defensive line, 6'2", 254 from Grambling. So now at the 36-yard line, Denver, a 3rd and 1, trying to keep the drive going. Double tight end, handoff, Armstrong starts left, trying to get outside. He's across the 30. He's at the 25, 20, and out of bounds at the 18, 17-yard line. Mike Fuller.
Otis doing a good job in dancing his way down the sidelines. He got around Kelcher, got a couple of good blocks out in the corner, and was able to get to the sideline. And when he did, he turned on the speed. And here's one of those good blocks right there. Otis got by Kelcher and then got to the sideline where Fuller knocked him out of bounds.
Dolben right, Moses left. The fake, Morton, quick pass. Dolben inside the 10, and the ball knocked away. As he is hit, they're ruling it incomplete all the way. Morton delivered the ball to Dolben's stomach. Well-thrown pass. He was hit just as he was making the catch, and the pass is ruled incomplete.
Yeah, he was really hit. It was really a nice pass and a nice catch there for the moment. And as he was going down, somebody came in and really cracked him, and they ruled it incomplete. I don't think he really ever had the ball. Morton is now 1 for 5 for 10 yards.
So it's 2nd down for the Broncos, 10 to go. 17-yard line, draw to Perrin, and he is stopped as he gets back to the line of scrimmage by Kelcher.
And Kelcher, Bob, is playing some kind of ball game out there. He just literally came right over Howard, and that's not easy to do, and Kelcher just stuffed him. Minnesota leads Cincinnati 7-0 now in the first period. Los Angeles 17-6 over Green Bay. That's in the fourth period now.
Denver 3rd down and 10. Morton is back. There's the pass. It is incomplete. Dolben had a hand on it at the 10-yard line and could not hang on to the ball. And Jim Turner, who hasn't had a field goal try in the last 2 ball games, comes out for Denver. Fuller was back in the coverage on Dolben. And Turner, who is 8 for 11, will try a 35-yarder. In that range, he is 4 of 6. 7-0 Chargers. Broncos started this drive at their 15. They're now at the San Diego 18. Weiss will hold at the 25-yard line. Waiting for the snap. Ball is down. Turner's kick on the way, end over end, and good. 35-yard field goal by Jim Turner. Now, with 4:54 to play in the first quarter, it is San Diego 7, Denver 3, and a timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
There's a certain quality about some businesses that sets them apart. You've seen it. It's the time and care their people take to make sure each customer receives all the attention and service needed. In my business, I strive to help all my clients find exactly the kind of homes they want. It takes a lot of effort, but to me, it's all worthwhile. In the automobile business, there's a dealership here in Denver that provides that same level of individual service in their business that my clients expect of me. Silterhar Ford is earning a solid reputation for individualized customer service and attention. As someone who appreciates this very special kind of personal service and care, I salute the people at Silterhar Ford. I am Odell Berry, former Denver Bronco, now Vice President of 888 Real Estate in North Glen.
Ford's tough Bronco has an exciting new look for 1978. It's on display right now at Silterhar Ford, Highway 287 in Broomfield. Come see it.
Back deep for the Chargers, number 40, Clarence Williams.
Broncos that time drove 67 yards. It started back at their 15-yard line after the kickoff following the San Diego touchdown. And they had it for 12 plays before the field goal in 4 minutes and 33 seconds. So they moved the ball very, very well on that until they stalled. And with 4:54 to go, it's a 7-3 ball game, and Oakland has scored again. It's the Raiders 10, Houston nothing, first period.
Perrin will kick off. Owens and Williams wait at the 5-yard line. End over end kick. Williams comes up for it at the 11. Cutting left across the 15. Pursued by Hyde. He's over the 20-yard line and gang tackled at the 23. Hyde just got a piece of him. And the Chargers will start from the 23 after the tackle by Larry Evans. And after we take 10 seconds for station identification. 7-3 Chargers. First quarter. 10 seconds on the Denver Bronco Network.
From 4 to 6:30 p.m., hear the evening report on KOA Denver.
Woods and Young. Rogers wide to the right. Joyner left. Woods in motion. Young trying to go straight ahead. Rolls off a block, cuts outside left, and gets to the 29. Tackle by Steve Foley.
Broncos have changed up now as far as their front three. Paul Smith, John Grant, and Bryson Manor are in there. And that's normally the progression of things where they'll go 2 series with the combination of Carter, Chavis, Alzado, and then come back with Smith, Grant, and Manor.
Matthews replaces Young. McDonald in for Rogers. McDonald to the right on a 2nd down 4 from the 29-yard line. And the handoff is to Young straight ahead, and he have the first down around the 34-yard line. Bryson Manor makes the tackle there.
The Chargers continue to shuffle in and out, those running backs in and out of there, and we talked about how deep they are in running backs, and that's the reason that they can afford to do that. And really, they keep them fresh and continue to give you a different look up front. Johnny Rogers has come in now.
3.5 minutes to play in the quarter. Chargers 7-3. Their fumble recovery by Dean for the touchdown. Rogers in motion from right to left. Handoff is to Matthews, going left, and gets to the 38, close to the 39-yard line. John Grant makes the tackle. 4-yard gain. 2nd down 6. The Chargers are sending in more likely 2 people than 1 on every play.
Right. Tampa Bay has lost 23 in a row now. 10-0 Giants win.
2nd and 6 Chargers at the 38-yard line. Matthews and Woods are the running backs. It is to Woods into the middle across the 40 into the 43, and then a flag. The flag thrown after he was down, and it is against the Chargers. Tom Jackson made the tackle for Denver. But let's check now and see what the penalty is all about. They're back to the line of scrimmage. Houston has kicked a field goal in Oakland, Larry.
10-3 in the first period. Raiders lead. Holding is the indication against Bo Matthews. And so the 10-yard penalty puts the ball back to the 31.
Chargers have had a lot of penalties, 66 for 530 yards. The Broncos have had 56. Harris on the draw play to Woods, stumbles over the 40-yard line. Run is good for 8 yards. Gradishar makes the tackle, and it leaves the ball at the 40. So now the Chargers have a 3rd down, 4.5 from the 40-yard line.
Passes.
2:25 to play in the quarter, and San Diego leading 7-3. Matthews is out. McDonald has come in.
And Harris has still only thrown 1 pass in this football game so far.
Klein, the tight end, in motion. He's back to throw now. There is the pass deflected. It is caught on the deflection by Joyner around the 47-yard line, and he is tackled immediately. The ball was batted, and Joyner made the catch, tackled by Bernard Jackson at the 48-yard line for a first down.
Well, Harris throwing only for the 2nd time. Had things collapsing. Bryson Manor was coming in on him, but it appeared that one of the linebackers made the deflection, but it went right into Joyner, who really had to take it away from Thompson and Jackson.
So now first down Chargers as they send both receivers wide to the left. The fake. Harris wants to throw. The pass upfield, and he's got Rodgers open at the 20. He is at the 15, at the 10, at the 8. Johnny Rodgers making the catch, helped by the fact Bernard Jackson fell down. And Jackson and Tom Jackson converge on him to make the tackle at the 9, first and goal, San Diego.
James Harris threw that ball perfectly, and what a route run by Rodgers. Coming in from the left side, running the post, wide open. Jackson came over quickly. He had gotten between Jackson and Foley, found the seam. Then he did a lot of running when he came around. Just a fine route, run right in the seam of that zone, and Foley couldn't get over there, and Jackson was doing everything he could, but Harris had it right on the money.
Joe Washington is in with Young in the backfield for the Chargers. McDonald starts in motion to Washington, and he dives for 1 yard maybe. Just trying to go over the stack at the line of scrimmage. He's pushed back by Tom Jackson. He got no more than a yard. Second and goal at the 8.
A 1-yard advance. Second down, San Diego.
Some of the fans not too happy with that play. And now at the end of the quarter, it will be second and goal at the 8 for the Chargers. And after the first quarter, the score, San Diego 7, Denver 3. Back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
On that last play, Paul Smith was shaken up and has been helped to the sidelines. Doesn't appear to be anything too serious. They were looking at his left knee, and he's still walking along with Allen Hurst on the sideline as they take a look at it. Some of the quick statistics in the first period. And first downs, Denver 4 and San Diego 3. Denver had 10 rushing plays for 52 yards. San Diego 10 for 41. 10 passing yards for Denver for a total offense of 62. San Diego had 48 passing yards, a lot of them on that pass to Rodgers, for a total of 89. So it's 89 total offense for San Diego, 62 for Denver. Denver was 1 out of 6. San Diego's Harris 3 for 3.
Second and goal at the 8. Pitch out. It is to Woods, and he is thrown for a loss. It's Young at the 12-yard line. Tom Jackson came up to make the play. It was Young, and he lost a good 4 yards on the play. Now the Chargers have a third and goal at the 12 as Dwight McDonald is in for Johnny Rodgers.
That was a big play for the Broncos and a good play by Tom Jackson. The pass to Johnny Rodgers had taken the ball down to the 9-yard line, and now in 2 plays the Chargers have managed to lose 3, so they have to come up with a big play here.
McDonald and Joyner go to the left. Washington and Young are the running backs. McDonald in motion out of the slot to the right, and Harris rolling right with flags all over the field.
It appeared to me that Don Machik pulled out of the line too quickly.
Somebody made a gigantic hole for Bryson Manor to come through. It is a penalty on the Chargers. They will have third and goal at the 17 now.
I think we're going to see a legal procedure being the indication.
Masek it is. Fumble recovery by Dean. Run in for the touchdown for the San Diego score. Now they've driven from the 22 to the 8, but are pushed back from their 22 to the Denver 8, are pushed back to the 17, and it's third and goal there. Harris dropping straight back. He looks, pass up the middle. It is caught at the 15-yard line, and the tackle is made immediately at the 15 on Young. Gradishar and Chavis were right there to make the tackle. They may give him another yard to the 14, but that's all. And now it is fourth and goal at the 14-yard line for the Chargers, and they'll have to try a field goal.
Well, an excellent defensive stand by the Broncos, who were faced with a first down goal-to-go situation at their 9, but they have stopped them up, and the worst that can happen now is a field goal.
Benershka will attempt it from the 21-yard line, 31-yard attempt. Benershka is 5 for 9 in field goals this year. The ball is down, and Benershka's kick is blocked. Ball rolls to the sidelines and out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
I think it was Alzado. Alzado is coming through there along with Chavis.
He kicked it low, and And it will be the Broncos' ball at the 15. See, we'll stay with it long enough. See if we can pick up who might have gotten it, Larry.
I think it was Alzado. Let's see. Well, it was either Alzado or Chavis. It's hard to tell. Both of them are right there.
But the Broncos will take over at their 15-yard line with the score San Diego 7, Denver 3, and a timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
What's inside that new McDonald's Happy Meal box?
Hamburger, fries, soft drink, all regular sizes, and a packet of cookies.
That box is really funny, covered with puzzles and games and jokes.
Have you heard this one? It's raining cats and dogs outside. I just stepped on a poodle.
Funny. Say, isn't there supposed to be a super secret prize inside? Hey, what'd you get?
I'm not telling.
I guess everybody will have to go to a participating McDonald's for their own Happy Meal. Hey, come on, let me see.
No way.
McDonald's introduces the Happy Meal. Hamburger, fries, soft drink, all regular sizes, plus a packet of cookies inside the happiest boxes of all time. With jokes, games, puzzles, all kinds of goofy stuff all over them. And a super secret prize, but I'm not going to tell you what. You'll have to go to a participating McDonald's and get your own Happy Meal.
Well, with that block, the real fine defensive stand for the Broncos as San Diego comes away with nothing, and the Broncos still trail it by the score of 7-3. In the fourth period, Los Angeles leads Green Bay now 24-6.
We have a cast change for the Broncos. Lytle and the fullback Jensen, and Jensen on the handoff up the middle for 3. Jim Jensen for 3 yards in the middle of the San Diego defense. Rob Lytle, the other running back, and Tom Graham, the middle linebacker, former Bronco, makes that stop. Second down, well, from where they've spotted the ball, we better say 8. It's really closer to the 17 than the 18-yard line. Moses left and Upchurch right. Morton back to throw on second down to the outside. It is dropped by Lytle. 23-yard line. Larry, that's the third pass that a Bronco could have caught. Woodrow Lowe was the nearest man to Lytle, and it was thrown toward the sidelines. I don't know whether Lytle, looking back toward the sun, had problems that way, but he certainly didn't catch a football. It looked to be catchable.
Yeah, it was down a little bit low, but he certainly could have caught it. We have the report now from the Bronco bench that Paul Smith has a left knee problem. I see the ice pack on it over there. He will not be able to return to the game.
Denver goes with 5 defensive linemen. Both receivers wide right on a 3rd and 8 from the 17-yard line for the Broncos. And Morton back with a flag. Running up in the pocket, there's another flag, and the throw is out of bounds to Odoms. But there are flags all over the place.
I think we're going to find that the Broncos did something in the offensive line. We see holding is one indication.
That's the second flag. I think there was another.
Yeah, there's one at the line of scrimmage.
Offside on the Chargers, right. Holding on the Broncos.
Offsetting.
And offsetting penalties.
Holding. Offside.
So Fred Wyant, the referee, gives the call, and now they'll have to re-spot the football at the 17-yard line, and the Broncos get a break there. So the Bears are coming back against the Chiefs a little bit.
20-14, fourth period.
Rick Upchurch goes left. Taven Moses wide right. Stay with Lytle and Jensen in the backfield. 2nd and 8 from the 17 for Denver. And they fake the draw. Morton is back. He's sacked. 10-yard line. Leroy Jones gets the first sack of the ball game. The Broncos will have to punt from the end zone.
Fourth sack for a 6-yard loss by number 16, Leroy Jones.
Mike Fuller will drop back now as Diltz will punt to him. And if you heard the pregame show, you heard Diltz talking about that he used to punt against Fuller back in the Southeastern Conference. Fuller played at Auburn while Diltz was at Georgia, so they know each other.
The second, third, and fourth leading punt returners in the conference are in this game. Snap back to Dilts in the end zone. Kicks a wobbly one and not very deep across the 40-45. Fuller lets it go. It's over the 50 and is downed by Godwin Turk at the San Diego 48-yard line. Fuller is the third leading punt returner. Rogers the fourth, and Upchurch moved up to be second behind Billy Johnson after the great day he had returning punts against Pittsburgh. Upchurch averaging 14-8. Now the Chargers at their own 48-yard line, 12-16 left in the first half, and a timeout with a score, San Diego 7, Denver 3. This is the Denver Bronco Network.
Make it first, like a mountain morning sunrise, coming slowly through the trees, like an eagle when it spreads its wings across the blue sky breeze. It's all that's big and bold and free. Come taste the great outdoors. It's a part of what you're dreaming. Make it yours. Make it good for a taste of morning sunshine. Morning sunshine. Make it good. Make it right for you and me. For you and me. Taste of wide open sky. Taste of Rocky Mountain High. Make it good. Make it yours.
The Chargers Hall of Fame will be honored at halftime today.
Well, right now, Morton is not having a particularly outstanding day. Craig has completed only one pass for out of 7, 1 out of 7, and now that sack has him down to a net of 3 yards passing.
Chargers start from their 48-yard line, moving from right to left. Woods and Young are the running backs for San Diego. Woods in motion, handoff. Young gets to the 50 with Lyle Alzado hanging on and bringing him down after a gain of a couple. Second down and 8. Max Coley, who was the offensive coordinator in Denver in the John Ralston administration, has moved to San Diego and assumed the same role here. One difference is that Max is up in the scouting booth sitting about 10 feet to our left. With the Broncos, he was the one on the sidelines. Another former Bronco head coach, Jerry Smith, is on the San Diego staff. He's defensive line coach. He was the head coach for 5 games after Lou Saban's resignation. The fake by Harris. He fakes again, throws it to the right flat, and has Woods across the 40-yard line to the 35. Good screen. And a first down at the 35-yard line. Bernard Jackson makes the tackle for Denver as the Chargers gain 15 on the screen to Woods.
Well, it's just perfect execution by Harris on that. He faked out to the left, pumped once on it, and had the Denver defense looking that way. Then he just wheeled around and came back to the right side, flipping that screen pass out there, and really gave some running room.
Now Joe Washington and Bo Matthews are in. Rogers to the left. Joyner is just out a few steps to the right. Handoff Joe Washington up the middle to the 32.
Handoff to Joe Washington.
Bob Swenson makes the stop for Denver, and Washington gains 3. The Chargers have a 2nd and 7 at the Denver 32-yard line. McDonald is in for Rogers. Again, Paul Smith on the Denver bench with a knee injury, and we are told he will not return to the game.
James Harris is now 5 for 5 for 66 yards after that screen pass completion.
Both receivers to the left side. McDonald inside of Joyner. Matthews and Washington still in the backfield on a 2nd and 7. It is Washington, and he wants to throw. There is the pass to a wide open Joyner. 2-yard line, touchdown. Washington to Joyner, who was all by himself at the 2-yard line, and the Chargers lead 13-3, a 32-yard play.
My goodness. Well, I tell you, was Joyner ever open? I don't think Foley came racing down there to try to pick him up, but Foley was still at the 10-yard line. Washington carrying out the fake nicely. Louis Wright was just about to get to him, but Joel threw a perfect pass, and Joyner was 10 yards behind everybody, all alone down there. And Washington has been known to do that before. Used to do it at the University of Oklahoma.
Manershka to attempt the extra point. Ball is down, and And the kick is good. So now with 10-12 left in the first half, the Chargers have opened up a 14-3 lead. Back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
Citizens Band radios are becoming one of the country's most widely enjoyed hobbies. But along with all the nicknames and colorful language that are part of CB fun, there's something else you ought to know about, good buddies. Those highly flexible antennas used by CB radios can also be extremely dangerous around power lines. These antennas, which can be up to 20 feet tall for units set up for use at home, can easily wave around and touch an electric line, and that's dangerous. At least it will damage your antenna, and the possibility of serious injury is very real. So just remember this. If you're getting a Citizens Band radio for use in your home, be careful not to set up the antenna anywhere near a power line. And that includes the loop that carries electricity from the distribution line to your house. That way, not only will you be safe while you're putting up your antenna, but there is no chance it might touch a power line while blowing in the wind or something of that nature. Like anything else, CBing is a lot more fun when it's safe. And that's a big old 10-4 from Public Service Company.
Was 52 yards in 4 plays, the final pass being 32 yards, Joe Washington to Charlie Joyner. And, Bob, I have to be impressed with the execution that we're seeing by this Charger team.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they're ready for this one. They've blown a lot of smoke at the Broncos. Now they've scored more points against Denver than anyone else this season except Oakland when they had the 24. No one else has scored as many as 14, and the Chargers lead it 14-3 with 10-12 left in the first half. Upchurch and Schultz wait inside the 5-yard line, and Benershka sails it to Upchurch at the goal line. He's over the 5, the 10, 15, 20, 25 to about the 30-yard line. 30-yard return by Upchurch. Hank Bauer made the tackle, and the Broncos need to get going on offense now. St. Louis failed to score. Buffalo had 6. Seattle had 13. Kansas City had 7. The first Oakland game, the Raiders had 7. Cincinnati had 13. Pittsburgh had 7. And now the Chargers have 14 against a proud Denver defense that had given up fewer points than anyone else in the AFC starting the day. Odoms is in motion, and the handoff is to Jensen to the right side to the 34-yard line, close to the 35. It will be a 2nd down and 5. Clarence Duran made the tackle. 2nd and 5. Denver's passing game has gone nowhere. Morton has 1 for 7. He's had 2 or 3 drops that looked as if they could have been caught. 2nd down, 5 from the 35 for the Broncos. Dalvin left and Moses right. Handoff Jensen again, and Jensen going to the left side to the 38-yard line. Fred Dean makes the tackle. And the Broncos are looking now at a 3rd down and 2.
Houston has kicked another field goal in the second period now, and it's 10-6. The Raiders lead the Oilers up in Oakland.
Everyone talked about the tough stretch Denver had with 2 Oakland games, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, but this next stretch isn't exactly easy. 4 of the last 6 are on the road, including this one. Both receivers go left, and Schultz is in the game on a 3rd and 2. Morton quickly to the side. Incomplete for Odoms at the 40-yard line. Got a hand on the ball. Was hit immediately by Mike Williams, and the Broncos have a 4th and 2 at the 38-yard line.
Pass was a little high for Riley. Riley went up trying to get it, but Williams was there to deliver on him, and he really had no chance. And now Morton's 1 for 8 for 10 yards, a net of 3 because he was sacked once for a -7.
So Dilts will have to punt. Fuller back at the 25-yard line. 4th down and 2 at the 38. High, not a very good punt. It hits across the 35. Now the Chargers decide to get away from it, and the Broncos down it at the 32-yard line. And San Diego will take over at their own 32. 8:33 to play in the first half. And it is all San Diego as they take a timeout. The Chargers 14, the Broncos 3. Will return in 1 minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
Frontier announces the businessman's 2-hour vacation to Sacramento.
Travel the Skyway, the Frontier Flyway, discover a new frontier. Traveling together, traveling wherever, discover the new Frontier.
Frontier's new non-stop service to Sacramento is a lot like a 2-hour vacation with complimentary California wines, meals that are making us famous, special dessert service, and a free copy of the Wall Street Journal, along with first-class legroom, all at coach prices. Frontier's new service to Sacramento with 2 non-stops every day. Call a professional travel agent or Frontier for reservations.
Point, San Diego now has 98 yards passing, 42 rushing for a total offense of 140 yards, while Denver has 3 yards passing and 62 rushing for a total offense of 65. So San Diego has so far dominated the offensive statistics of the game. Minnesota Vikings have scored again. It's 14-0. The Vikes over Cincinnati in the second period.
And these people of San Francisco and New Orleans are in overtime. Washington and Young, the running backs for the Chargers. Rodgers in motion from right to left. It is Washington heading to the right side. Gets away behind the 30, out to the 34, to the 35-yard line. Bob Swenson makes the tackle. Lewis Wright looked to have him for a loss behind the 30. It is a gain of about 2.5 on the play. 2nd down and 8 for the Chargers, just short of their 35-yard line. First San Diego touchdown came on a fumble recovery by Dean at the 11. He scored. And now a Washington to Joyner 32-yard pass on the halfback option. Both receivers left. Chargers shift from the I to the T, both receivers to the left side, and hand the ball off to Young, who is hit by Alzado at the 35-yard line. He twists for maybe a yard. 3rd down and all of 7 for the Chargers from the 35.
Broncos trail at 14-3. It could be worse than that because the Chargers had a 1st and goal to go at the 9-yard line and came away with nothing when Benershka's field goal attempt was blocked.
They've got Klein in motion from left to right on the 3rd down. Harris is back. He looks. He throws into the right flat. It is incomplete. It was intended for Young, and it hit Gradishar on the back.
And then Billy Thompson delivered a nice little blow on Ricky Young after the play, but it was in that area where he wasn't sure whether he had the ball or not. Thompson was screened out. Some of the fans booed that, but it was just a good, hard play.
Not a particularly good throw by Harris under the circumstances either. Upchurch waits at the 25-yard line. West will punt from his own 20. The Chargers have a 4th and 7 at their 35. A good high one, and Upchurch gives a fair catch signal. The ball is not taken by Upchurch, however. It is caught at the 27 by Chris Payne near the sidelines. So the Broncos will start from their own 27-yard line. And now the Broncos better have something in mind offensively. 7 minutes left in the first half. And we'll take 10 seconds for station identification with a score: San Diego 14, Denver 3. 10 seconds on the Denver Bronco Network.
News on the hour from CBS and from
KOA
Denver.
Let's update the scores for you. Once again, give you the finals. Baltimore 31, Buffalo 13, Pittsburgh 35, and Cleveland 31. Those are 2 finals, and they just gave a score here that will be of interest. Houston has scored a touchdown, and the Oilers lead Oakland 13-10 in the second period. Houston 13 and the Raiders 10. Other finals: Miami beats New England 17-5, Seattle 17-0 over the New York Jets, Washington beat Philadelphia 17-14. Atlanta 17, Detroit 6, and the New York Giants 10, Tampa Bay nothing. In the fourth period, Chicago, after trailing 17-0, has gone ahead of Kansas City 21-20. The Bears 21-20. New Orleans and San Francisco are in overtime, tied 7-7. Los Angeles leads Green Bay 24-6 in the fourth period.
Broncos start from the 27-yard line with Moses and Dalvin wide to the right. Moses in motion out of the slot. Jensen and Lytle, the running backs. It is Rob Lytle, and he is across the 30, close to the 32-yard line, just into the middle of the Charger defense.
Number 41, Rob Lytle, the ball carrier.
Gain of 4 for Lytle. Second down and 6. Leroy Jones makes the tackle. There you would think the announcement of the Houston-Oakland score might juice up a few people on the Denver bench. The Broncos have looked flat.
Yes, they have, and now that they realize that Houston is in front, we'll have to see if that does something for them.
Broncos next week will be at Kansas City. Broadcast coverage starts at 11. Denver double tight end, fake the reverse. Here comes Lytle. He is to the 35 and is driven back from the 35-yard line. He started to his right, faked the reverse to Moses, and hung on to the ball to the 35, but Denver will have third down and almost 3 yards to go. Woodrow Lowe made the tackle. So both teams are using some gadget plays. Of course, the big one is the 32-yard touchdown pass off the halfback option from Joe Washington to Charlie Joyner, the second San Diego touchdown. Dalvin left, Moses right. Broncos third down at their 35. They need about 2.5 for the first down, and hand the ball to Lytle. He is stopped short. He went to about the 36-yard line and is pushed back by the middle of that San Diego defensive line. Freddie Dean hit him first. And on a 4th and 2, the Broncos will have to punt the football.
Tackled by number 71.
Well, we've said it before. This San Diego team is ready for this. They had a lot of pride in that defense, and I think the defensive unit is trying to prove something out here with Denver's defensive bunch.
Bucky Dilts, who is averaging about 34 yards a punt, standing at the 21-yard line. Fuller waits at the San Diego 28. Low snap, but Dilts kicks it fairly high. Fuller gets it at the 30, heading right. He is at the 35, at the 39, and down at the 40.
34-yard punt.
Another 34-yard punt by Dilts. Egloff made the tackle.
Number 42,
and
Fuller returns the ball 9 yards.
Lytle is shaken up on the play, Larry. The Chargers will start from their 39-yard line. Lytle is being helped off the field. He's been banged up off and on all season. Broncos already have lost Paul Smith with a knee injury in the game, and he will not be back. He has an ice pack around his left knee and the leg up on the bench on the far side. 14-3 Chargers. Second quarter.
Lytle's left knee.
Woods and Young, the running backs. It is Woods, and Woods coming across right guard, and there's a flag as he is straightened up at the 44-yard line and pushed back. A flag.
By number 53, Randy Gretishar. A 4-yard advance.
Referees talk it over. 4:39 to play in the first half. Personal foul, clipping against the Chargers. Broncos will take it, and it will move San Diego well back now. Ball will be spotted at the Charger 24-yard line. 15-yard penalty for a clip on the Chargers. And Johnny Rogers is called for the clip. So now it is 1st and 25. Chargers at their 24-yard line.
San Diego's now been penalized 4 times for 30 yards.
Chargers shift. Had Woods lined up as a wingback, get him in the backfield. On the delay, give the ball to Young, and he is to the 30-yard line. Gets about 5. Broncos will give him that on a 1st and 25. Lyle Alzado is the tackler for Denver. 2nd and 20 for the Chargers. Rogers is back in the ball game.
Fourth quarter score, National Football League. Kansas City 27, Chicago 21.
Kansas City has moved back out in front of the Chicago Bears now, 27-21, and they're playing pretty well under their new coach, Tom Bettis.
Rogers right, Joyner left, 2nd and 20 from just inside the 30. Broncos flop around at the line of scrimmage. Harris bootlegs, has some time, sails the pass upfield. Diving attempt by Joyner. Did he or didn't he? It looks as if they'll call it a completion at the 47-yard line. Joyner was down on his side as he made a dive for the ball between the hash marks. They are calling it a complete pass for 17 yards, and it's a 3rd and 3. McDonald in, Matthews in.
Joyner had 17 catches for 225 yards coming into the game. That's the 3rd best on the team. Young is the leading receiver with 27.
Chargers with a 3rd down and 3 at their own 47. Woods and Matthews, the running backs. Handoff is to Woods, drives to the 50-yard line, comes across the 50, and is very close to the 1st down. It will depend on where they spot the football. Billy Thompson was the one who made the tackle. The fans don't like where they spotted the football, as you can hear, and they'll bring the chain in. Very close.
It's going to be close, too. It's a 1st down, but, Bob, it couldn't be by too much. They really had to look that one over closely. San Francisco has kicked the field goal in overtime. The 49ers 10, the New Orleans Saints 7. That's final.
And here with 2:59 left in the first half, and the Chargers ahead 14-3, they have a 1st down at the 50. So they bailed out of that 1st and 25. They just exactly got 25 yards. Matthews staying in with Woods, a delay to Woods, and Woods is to the Bronco 47-yard line. Gradishar makes the tackle. He just came into the middle of the Denver defense.
By number 53, Randy Gradishar.
They will spot the ball inside the Bronco 48. 2nd down and 7 yards to go for the Chargers, who are letting the clock run right now. Both teams have their timeouts. Broncos have all of 4 1st downs.
Right, they have 3 rushing, 1 passing. San Diego has 2 running and 4 passing.
Rogers in motion on a 2nd and 7. Harris is back, looks, throws. It is incomplete. It was intended at the 50-yard line in the middle of extremely heavy traffic for Young. And the pass was a little low. He was hit by Alzado immediately, and it goes as an incomplete pass. Broncos would have been better off to let him catch it because he was going to lose yardage anyway.
NFL score in overtime.
It is incomplete. 3rd and 10 at the 47. And now 2:08 remaining in the first half. Clock stops with the incomplete pass.
Harris is now 6 out of 8 for 83 yards.
3rd down and 7 at the Denver 47. McDonald in motion from left to right out of the slot. And Harris is back. He throws, and it is incomplete. Intended for Joyner, way over his head. Foley waved at the ball at the 33-yard line. Foley in front and Bernard Jackson behind had Joyner well covered. And now the Chargers will punt the football with 2:04 left in the half and a 4th and 7 at the Denver 47.
West. Backing for Denver, number 80. Rick Upchurch.
Broncos have 10 men at the line of scrimmage. Upchurch at the 10. Waiting for the snap. 14-3, San Diego. There's the snap back, and West kicks it off to the right side, and it hits along the sidelines. Where did it go out of bounds? 15-yard line. He kicked it away from Upchurch again, and it went out of bounds at the Denver 15, so that's where the Broncos will take it. 1 minute and 57 seconds left in the first half. San Diego 14, Denver 3, and a timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
Think happy, stay happy, have a happy day today. Work better, live better, the Capital Federal way. Make your money work for you to do the things you want to do. Think happy, stay happy, the Capital Federal way. Think happy, stay happy, have a happy day.
Saving with a pass card account at Capital Federal means you also save at Wendy's Hamburgers. Buy one hamburger at the regular price and get a quarter-pound hamburger absolutely free.
Think happy, stay happy, the Capital Federal way.
The quarterly coupon discount at Wendy's Hamburgers is just one more way to get more for your savings with a Capital Federal Savings pass card account.
Kansas City Chiefs have lost that game. The Chicago Bears came back to score another one and kick the point. Chicago 28, Kansas City 27. That's final. Up to this point now, Denver 71 rushing, 3 passing for a total offense of 74. And San Diego has 55 rushing, 115 passing for 170 yards total offense. Tim Simmons keeping our statistics today and keeping us right up to date on everything.
Perrin and Armstrong are back. Broncos start from the 15. Have Moses in motion from the right with a double tight end. Morton wants to throw. Pass upfield. Caught by Moses. 35, 40, 42-yard line. Duran makes the tackle, and the Broncos immediately move up to the line of scrimmage. They'll spot the ball at the 41. So it's a 26-yard pass play from Morton to Moses on first down. 1:34 left in the half. Broncos have all their timeouts. Morton is back, throws quickly. It is incomplete. It was intended for Armstrong over his head at the 45-yard line, and that'll stop the clock with 1:27 to go in the first half. San Diego leading 14-3, and the Broncos, even though they will get the kickoff at the start of the third quarter, obviously anxious to get something more on the scoreboard here in the first half.
And Oakland has gone back out in front of Houston. The Raiders 17, Houston 13. That's in the second period up the coast in Oakland. Minnesota leads Cincinnati now 14-7 in the second period.
Chicago's win over Kansas City is only the second win for an NFC team over an AFC club in 13 games. Second and 10. Morton is back, steps up in the pocket, throws it for Moses. Caught at the 38 and out of bounds at the 36. Haven Moses on the near sideline makes the catch on Mike Williams and is spun out of bounds, but there is a flag in the Denver backfield.
Holding. It's against Denver. That nullifies a fine gain by Morton throwing to Moses. He's hit Moses twice on this drive. It started back at the 15 at the 2-minute warning with 1:57 to go, but that one will come back.
10-yard penalty. Moves the ball back to the 31-yard line.
Morton is now 2 for 10 for 36 yards. Claudia Minor holding is the indication from the official.
So it's 2nd and 20 for Denver and 1:21 left. Moses, Dalton wide left in the slot formation. Perrin and Armstrong are the Denver running backs. And Morton collides with Perrin, is back, and he'll take a dive at the 24-yard line. Morton was going back to pass, and Perrin just ran right into him. And Morton will take a dive rather than risk throwing the ball away. Fred Dean is there at the 24-yard line. And now the Chargers take a timeout.
Dean was shaken up on the play. When he went down to make sure that Craig Morton was down, he collided with his own teammate, with Leroy Jones, who was coming in from the other side, and he sort of really wound back on that knee. And that appears to be what they're working on. Right knee.
For your convenience.
Dean is still flat on his back at the 23-yard line. Well, the loss of a little better than 6 yards, and Denver will have a 3rd down and 26 at their 25-yard line when we come back with 1:13 to go in the half. And the Chargers in a lead of 14-3. And Larry, this is probably as poor a half as we've seen from the Broncos since early in the season, when they were struggling a little bit against Buffalo and Seattle before they got some things going with more consistency.
Okay, Dean is on his feet, and he's going to walk that off. Although the trainers continue to flank him, he is able to put weight on that right knee that they were looking at. So perhaps it's not too serious, but he's a fine one, has played a fine game out in the middle of that line for the Chargers.
I think of Leroy Jones, Louis Kelcher, Gary Johnson, and Fred Dean in that defensive line. Be hard-pressed to know which of the four you would take if you had a shot at one of them. Excellent.
John Lee has now replaced Dean at that right end position.
Lee at 6'2", 253, second-year man from Nebraska. And that's also a very young defensive line. They're mostly...
Oh, this is a young team.
Second, third, and fourth. Now the Broncos come to the line of scrimmage, and the officials say, hold it a moment. And the Broncos will go back and huddle up again. I don't know what that's all about.
I think the officials wanted to make sure that somebody hadn't taken a timeout on the network.
They wanted a reset on the 30-second clock.
On the 30-second clock, okay.
Now they have restarted that. Time left in the half, 1:18, 20 seconds on the 30-second clock. Dolbin and Moses in the slot to the right, and Morton back, sets up, sack at the 17-yard line. And the Broncos will have to punt the ball on fourth down. John Lee, just in the ball game, gets the sack, and again the Chargers take a timeout. They'll have one left, and a loss to the 16-yard line will make it 4th and 35.
And that shows you how important that holding penalty can be. And the Broncos could have had it down with plenty of time to go in to score, get a field goal or something, and Charger territory. But because of the holding penalty, now they're backed up with Dilts kicking from right near his end zone. And the Chargers are going to get it with 2 timeouts remaining and some time to do something.
Fuller at his own 48-yard line. Dilts will punt from the Denver 2. And he kicks it high again. It's not particularly deep. Fuller lets it hit. It's coming into San Diego territory, and Godwin Turk has downed the ball at the Charger 42. So that's where San Diego will get it with 1:05 left.
No, that's one time that Fuller didn't want to take any chances of turning the ball over, knowing that he was still going to get it, or the Chargers would still get it up around the 45, and comes down to the 42 as James Harris trots onto the field. And now we'll see what the Chargers have in mind with 1:05 to go and 2 timeouts remaining.
Joyner going to the right. Rogers is left. Washington and Young are the running backs. And the Chargers start from their own 42-yard line. Harris back to pass, looks to the left, throws it into the left flat, and Young at the 45, out of bounds at the 46-yard line, stopped by Steve Foley.
Pushed out of bounds by number 43, Steve Foley.
Less than a minute to play, 59 seconds to go in the half.
Well, they move it down about 5 yards and get the clock stopped by going out of bounds.
Second down, 5.5. Next week, Denver at Kansas City. Our pregame coverage at 11. Our network broadcast at 11:45. McDonald and Joyner in the slot to the left. And Harris back. Second down, 5.5. The pass is tipped and incomplete. McDonald turned and the ball was there at the 42-yard line. He had his hands on it, then dropped it. Lewis Wright and Billy Thompson were back on coverage for the Broncos.
36, Billy Thompson.
So now it will be a third down and close to 6 for the Chargers with 54 seconds left.
Harris is now 7 out of 11 for 87 yards.
14-3, San Diego.
Could have had that one. I think that one was there. Again, I don't know what that sun is doing down there, though.
It's hard to tell. They get some funny shadows in here. It's been kind of a hazy day. The sun is out a bit, just enough. Rogers is back in, slot to the right, and Harris steps up, drills the pass to Rogers at the Bronco 38-yard line. He is tackled at the 34. Bernard Jackson made the stop, and the Chargers take a timeout. They have a first down. They're calling it the 35-yard line. A first down for San Diego with 45 seconds left.
They have used the clock wisely and have moved now down to the Denver 35 from their own 42. And what an exciting player Johnny Rogers is. The Heisman Trophy winner when he played at the University of Nebraska. And I know that folks back in the Big 8 area will remember him. And he does make things happen, Bob, when he gets the ball. He really makes you play him tough. Those years in Canada certainly didn't hurt him, and he has helped this Charger ball club. They have a lot of exciting people on this team, and it is a very young team, as we pointed out, and one that, as Bob said earlier, will have something to say about what the Western Division race shapes up this year. They still have, after this one more game with Denver. They have Oakland here next week in San Diego. They have the capabilities of putting that game together, and it could be very interesting all the way down the line. But I think in years to come that this San Diego team is going to suddenly become a big factor in the Western Division of the AFC. I see Cincinnati has kicked a field goal, and now the Minnesota Vikings lead has been cut to 4. Minnesota 14, Cincinnati 10. That is in the second period. Oakland continues to lead Houston 17-13.
Young and Washington, the running backs. Rogers left. Joyner right. First down at the Denver 35 for the Chargers. And Harris is back. Has time. Throws it to the end zone. And it is caught out of the end zone. It is incomplete. Way out of the end zone. Joyner chased to the back of the end zone by Lewis Wright. Juggled the ball. Made the catch as he had crossed behind the end zone. And it will come back to the 35-yard line to be a second down and 10.
Well, the fans are giving the Chargers a cheer on that one, and Joyner was there, and so was that pass. He just bobbled it. Had he been able to seal the catch, he was inbounds, but he couldn't quite hang on to it and went out of bounds bobbling it, so it was incomplete.
McDonald to the right, Joyner to the left on a second and 10 at the Denver 35. And the draw is to Young, and he is stopped by Alzado at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Grant there also. Now the clock at 30 seconds, and the Chargers come right back up at the line of scrimmage with a 3rd and 10 at the Denver 35. And Harris just throws the ball on the ground to stop the clock and is called for it, I think. The Broncos have picked the ball up, but Harris just drove the ball into the ground, and they threw the flag on top of him, and they may call him for grounding the football. They do. A good call. They have called him for grounding the football, and the key to it is loss of down. Tommy Prothro comes out on the field to protest.
Can't understand why he did that on 3rd down anyway.
Well, the scoreboard, I think, is wrong, Larry. I think they don't have any timeouts left. But strange business all the way around.
That's what I couldn't understand with one timeout, why he would want to just peg the ball into the dirt or stop the clock. If with the 3rd down situation, they might as well go for it. They still have the 4th down.
He just threw the ball into the ground in front of him. He made no effort to locate a receiver. And now the 4th down for the Chargers at the 50-yard line with a 15-yard penalty. 4th and 25. And the Chargers are not going to punt the football. 4th and 25. Prothro gesturing up a storm on the sidelines. And now Gradishar gets a free hit. As the Chargers started to stunt around, Prothro was signaling to Harris, who was up under the center, to get back, because I don't think the Chargers recognized that they'd lost a down, that it was 4th down. In this situation, I wouldn't think they'd want to turn the ball over to the Broncos near the 50-yard line. Illegal procedure on San Diego, and Gradishar took the free hit just to make the contact, but at least that gets the Charger punting team out on the field. Harris had come under the center and then jumped back without the ball, and they got some movement in the offensive line as a result. Confusion on San Diego's part after the grounding call. They did not realize right away that they'd also lost the down and that it was 4th down. And Gradishar made contact, so a 5-yard penalty on the Chargers. And now they have West to punt. Upchurch at the 15-yard line. Still 19 seconds to go. West kicks it high. Fair catch signal by Upchurch, who runs under the ball at the 25-yard line. And the Broncos will have 12 seconds. bizarre finish to the half here.
Well, Houston's given the Raiders a battle. They've kicked another field goal now in the second period. Oakland 17, Houston 16.
Larry will have all of the scores for you at halftime.
Also, we'll be visiting with Tank Younger.
Broncos start from their own 25. 12 seconds to play in the half. Morton is back. He throws it to the far sidelines. Dolben makes the catch and is wrestled out of bounds at the 43. Was he ever necktied? But a good catch by Dolben right in front of Red Miller on the far side. And so the Broncos move it out to the 43 with 7 seconds to go. Hal Stringert drove Dolben out of bounds. 18-yard gain by Denver. 14-3 Chargers, and it's taken a long time to finish up the second quarter with all of the timeouts. Broncos have 3, but with 7 seconds left in the half, it doesn't matter very much. Morton back again. He pumps it. He throws it upfield, and Moses just gets a hand on it. It is incomplete at the 30-yard line. He leaped for the ball. Incomplete, and 1 second left. And the Broncos at their own 44-yard line will have a 2nd and 10. 1 second to go. Chargers are putting Ray Preston, a second-year linebacker from Syracuse, into the game and taking out Woodrow Lowe.
If that ball would have hung up there a little bit longer, Dolben was in the area and coming over for it, and had he been able to pick it off in the air, that would have been interesting.
Of course, if Moses touched the ball...
We're set to go.
Panushka up to the ball. Herron back with Schultz for the Broncos. And Schultz takes it at the 5-yard line as Denver goes from left to right. Schultz is tripped up before he gets to the 20-yard line. Pulled down by Jerome Dove.
John Schultz.
Colorado State. So the Broncos don't have particularly good field position. They will start from inside the 20-yard line.
Tackled by number 87, Larry Dorsey.
A couple of other statistics. Armstrong carried 4 times for 35. Perrin 6 for 16. Jensen 3 for 10. Lytle 3 for 9. Woods 6 for 24 for San Diego, and Young 8 for 17.
Moses left, Dolben right. Perrin and Armstrong are the Denver running backs. Moses starts in motion, comes behind Morton, and Morton hands the ball to Armstrong, and he is pulled down behind the line of scrimmage. Don Good came shooting through and gets Armstrong for a loss of about 3 on the play at the 16-yard line. So Armstrong, who had an 8+ per carry average, sees that shattered very quickly. Some things jump out at you from the first half statistics. The Broncos did not complete a pass to a back, 2 to Dolben and 1 to Moses. And part of the game plan had been to try to set up some screens against the charge of the San Diego line. Morton back, setting up, throwing it to Lytle at the 20. He's hit immediately. This time, Tom Graham. Well, the Charger defense juiced up at the start of the third quarter. They have a 14-3 lead. And now the Broncos are looking at a 3rd and 9. And San Diego changing around a little bit. They'll send Pete Shaw, a rookie from Northwestern, in as an additional back. And they take Graham out. 3rd and 9. Broncos at the 20. Dolben left, Moses right. Perrin and Armstrong in a wide divide. And Morton is back, steps up, throws it for Armstrong over his head and out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Armstrong never made a move to the football. Woodrow Lowe was there, and it looked, Larry, as if there was a chance for him to reach up and catch that ball.
A little hard. I thought it was perhaps just a little bit too high for him, but I agree with you. I don't think that that Otis ever saw the ball.
I don't think so.
He didn't react to it at all.
So San Diego now with Denver's 4th and 9 has Fuller back. Dilts kicks it short. Fuller at the Bronco 49-yard line, running to his right, crosses the 45, the 40, and is down at the 38. Well, the Broncos in the first half were a -2 on turnovers. They were a +13 for the season coming in, a +14 on interceptions, and a -1 on fumbles. So they gave the ball up once on a fumble that resulted directly in a touchdown, recovered by Dean, who ran it in 11 yards for the score. The interception was meaningless. It was on the last play of the first half, a long pass by Morton. But now illegal man downfield is being signaled against the Broncos on that punt and declined by San Diego. They take it at the Denver 39-yard line. 14-3 Chargers. Rogers wide right, Joyner coming left, backs in the eye. Washington tailback behind Young, and they shift to the T. Harris in the count at the Denver 39-yard line. Gives the ball to Washington, who starts right, cuts back, goes a couple of yards, and then is driven back from the Denver 37. Gradishar making the tackle.
Tackle by number 53, Randy Gradishar.
We are informed from the Denver bench that on the kickoff return, Rick Upchurch pulled a thigh muscle and will not return to the game.
Well, that accounts for his absence on that last series. 2nd down and 8. And of course, he was not out there for the kickoff return. McDonald starts in motion. Harris fakes the handoff, throws it deep. It will be almost intercepted. Lewis Wright crossing over, had his hands on the ball, but did not hang on.
Number 89, Dwight McDonald. Coverage on the play by number 20, Lewis
3rd
Wright.
down and 8. Chargers at the Bronco 36-yard line. Denver with a grand total of 6 first downs. Not that the Chargers have that many more. They have 7. Now a 3rd and 8 at the Denver 37. Both receivers left. Rogers starts in motion out of the slot. And Harris is back on the 3rd and 8. Looks, throws it into the left flat. It is caught at the 40-yard line to the 35 and carried out of bounds by Washington at the near side at the 34. 5 yards short of the first down. And let's see what the Chargers do. They send out Benershka.
A 3-yard advance.
Benershka, a draft choice of the Raiders. And it appeared that he would be their place kicker when they let Errol Mann go. But they tried to get Benershka through waivers at the last cut down, and the Chargers claimed him. He played high school ball down here. 51-yard field goal attempt earlier. A 31-yarder by Benershka was blocked. Ball is at the Denver 41. It is down. Benershka's kick on the way. It will fall short and off to the right. And the 51-yard field goal is no good, so the Broncos will take over with a line of scrimmage, the Denver 34. 12 minutes, 21 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, and the score, Chargers 14, Broncos 3 at timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
In the midst of our usual late summer heat, your home's heating system is probably the last thing on your mind. Unfortunately, every year, a lot of unlucky people don't remember it until it's too late. A cold snap hits and their furnace isn't in working order. Often that means not only an uncomfortable house, but a considerable wait until help is available. The smart way to beat the rush and make sure you'll be ready when the time comes is to check your home heating system right now. Even turn up the thermostat to see if the heat comes on and everything is in working order. Then call a qualified heating contractor and let him give your heating system a complete servicing and inspection, from cleaning to lubrication to changing furnace filters. And have him relight the pilot if it's out. Call him now before autumn sneaks up on you. We'd hate to have you left out in the cold. We're the Public Service Company of Colorado, providing the energy you need for the life you lead.
An interesting call by San Diego to go for a 51-yard field goal, leading 14-3. One would think maybe a punt down inside the 10-yard line would bottle up the Denver defense, or offense rather, and give San Diego some field position, but Denver now has fairly good field position out at the 34.
That was Benershka's first attempt of the year from outside the 50-yard line. He's 5 for 11 for the season. Perrin and Armstrong are the running backs. Odom starts in motion out of a wingback, and they give the ball to Perrin starting to the right side. 35 to the 39 to the 40-yard line.
Number 35, Lonnie Perrin, the ball carrier.
Tom Graham makes the tackle.
Tackle by number 50, Don Good.
Gain is 6, and the Broncos are now at their 40. A long way to go in the game. Over 12 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
As we told you, Rick Upchurch has pulled a thigh muscle. I see Rick over in the sidelines. He's just kneeling down and sitting on his helmet. Doesn't look like he's going to be coming back in.
Broncos at their 40. Shift around. Have Lytle in now. And the pitch is to Perrin, heading to the right side behind Miner's block. He tries to roll off over the 45 to the 47-yard line. Good effort by Lonnie Perrin. And Mike Fuller making the tackle, but not until Perrin had picked up the first down.
Tackle by number 42, Mike Fuller.
Armstrong coming back in, and evidently that will be the shuttle system, Larry, with Upchurch out. The Broncos were alternating Upchurch and Dalbin. Dalbin stays in the ball game, and now it's Armstrong and Lytle bringing the message from the far side. Broncos first down at their own.
Tackle by number 42, Mike Fuller.
Armstrong coming back in, and evidently that will be the shuttle system, Larry, with Upchurch out. The Broncos were alternating Upchurch and Dalbin. Dalbin stays in the ball game, and now it's Armstrong and Lytle bringing the message from the far side. Broncos first down at their own 46. Both receivers wide right. Moses starts in motion out of the slot. And the bootleg as Morton ducks back in. He's across the 50 and takes a dive at the Charger 46-yard line. Leroy Jones making sure that he doesn't go anywhere. Houston has gone ahead of Oakland 22-17. Third quarter.
In the fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen.
Second down and 2.
22. Oakland 17.
Broncos at the Charger 46-yard line. Handoff Lytle trying to get outside left. He dives across the 45 and is close to the first down at the 44.
Number 41, Rob Lytle, the ball carrier.
Tom Graham is the tackler.
A 2-yard advance.
Tom still lives in Denver in the offseason.
Tackle by number 58, Tom Graham.
Take a look at it and see whether they need a measurement. That was a second down play.
Third quarter. Houston 22, Oakland 17.
Now bring in the chain, and we'll see whether the Broncos made the first down or whether they have to take one more pop at it. First down. And you hear a reaction from the Denver fans. There are at least 2,000 here. 7. Big splash of orange in the northwest corner. Fans are in the end zone, but they're up fairly high, and another group is in the east end around the 10-yard line down low.
That's 8 first downs for Denver now.
Dalbin left, Moses right, and Moses starts in motion as Morton gives the ball to Armstrong. Armstrong starting to the right, rolls back inside, only to the 43-yard line before he is wrapped up and thrown back. Don Good.
Tackle by number 50, Don Good.
They'll give Armstrong a couple of yards forward progress. Second down and 8. And Armstrong and Lytle continue with the messenger system.
Otis has now carried 6 times for 33 yards. While Houston has gone ahead of Oakland, Minnesota has scored again. The Vikings 21-10 over Cincinnati in the third period.
Second and 8 at the 42. It is Lytle in motion to the left this time. And Morton back to throw quickly. It is caught by Odoms at the 35, and he is out of bounds at the 34-yard line, close to another first down. Mike Fuller makes the tackle. Sent Lytle in motion left and threw to Odoms along the near sideline to the right. And the officials look it over. And the initial judgment is 3rd and inches at the Charger 34.
And this drive started back at the Bronco 34-yard line after the missed 51-yard field goal.
Double tight end. Egloff is in. Morton dives for the first down and should have it at the 33. Morton just took the aerial route over the top of the pile. There's the signal for the first down, and the Broncos are at the San Diego 33-yard line. Chargers attempted a 51-yard field goal that was no good. That turned the ball over to Denver at the line of scrimmage, their own 34. Now the Broncos have a first down at the Charger 33. Both receivers go left. Upchurch out with an injury. Smith out with an injury. Moses starts in motion. And Morton wants to throw it quickly to Dalbin, and it is incomplete. And there's one where I'm sure Dolbin was having trouble with his son, Larry. I was watching him as he turned back to look toward Morton. He had to look up toward the sun. And Dolbin catches those. It was right in his hands, and he never really had a grip on it.
Morton didn't throw it particularly well, but it certainly was catchable. Craig had to hurry the throw. Kelcher was coming through on him. Lonnie Perrin picked him up and put a block into him, but he was putting a little pressure on Craig. Morton now 5 for 17, 66 yards.
And now 2nd and 10, Broncos at the 33. It is Odoms in motion. And Morton throws for a wide open Moses, 10-5. He will score. Haven Moses made the catch at the 10, slipped inside on Clarence Duran, and scores. And it is a 33-yard touchdown play. The cap a 66-yard march, and now it is 14-9.
Beautiful routes run as Odoms went out to the side. Craig Morton gave him the head fake over there, and that sort of drew the defense into that area. Meanwhile, coming out of that area was Moses. He ran the streak down from the sidelines, cutting in, and then straight down the field. And Morton put it right on the money to him, and Haven had to get away from one man to get into the end zone. Fine play all the way.
Weiss to hold. Turner to attempt the extra point. 8:10 to go in the third quarter. Ball down. Turner's kick is good. So now it is San Diego 14, Denver 10, and a timeout on the Denver Bronco Network. 66 yards.
Make it good, make it good, make it yours. Make it right for someone special. Make it magic, make it real. Make it natural like a mountain stream beside a green grass field. Make it big and bold and lusty like the ocean when it rolls. It's what you always wanted. Make it yours. Make it good for the taste of morning sunshine. Make it good, make it right for you and me. Taste the wine, open sky. Taste the rockin' mountain high. Make it good, make it good, make it yours.
Up at the 35-yard line. The kickoff will be from left to right. Williams and Owens wait at the 5. Next Sunday, the Broncos at Kansas City. Pregame coverage at 11. Our network broadcast at 11:45 Mountain Standard Time. Now 14-10 in favor of the Chargers. And the end-over-end kick by Perrin is to Williams at the 7-yard line. He's over the 15, over the 20, and necktied as he gets it to the 25 and down at the 26-yard line. Godwin Turk makes the stop, and the Chargers will get the football. We'll take 10 seconds for station identification on the Denver Bronco Network.
Traffic reports mornings and evenings on
KOA
Denver.
That was a 66-yard drive for the Broncos in 9 plays, and they used up 4 minutes and 11 seconds to do it.
Washington and Young are the running backs. Joyner left, Rogers right from the 26. First down for the Chargers. Rogers in motion, handoff Washington, dives out near the 30.
Handoff to Joe Washington.
They'll place the football short of the 30-yard line. Randy Gradishar made the tackle. McDonald in for Rogers. Second down, a little better than 6 to go, and here is Bo Matthews coming in.
A 4-yard advance.
The cheer you hear in the background is the Denver section yelling defense. Second down. 7:25 to play, third quarter. Washington leaps into the middle, goes to the 31, and that is all. Reuben Carter, first one in to make the stop.
Handoff to Joe Washington.
Little help from Alzado. Chavis was also down on the bottom of that, and Joe Rizzo was in the area. But it was Carter who made the stop.
A 2-yard gain.
I'd really like to go next door and ask Max Coley how conservative he plans to be with a 4-point lead. We'll find out here, I suppose. 3rd and 4. Chargers at the 31-yard line. Harris Late handoff to Matthews, coming to the left. He is at the 30 and is undercut out to about the 33 or 34, and the Bronco who made the play is shaken up. Bernard Jackson?
Yes, it was Jackson.
Came up and just dived at Matthews' ankles, flipped Matthews, and he really took a shot himself. Matthews has stopped well short of the first down. They're putting the ball at the 33, and the Chargers will have to punt it away. And Denver has Chris Payne back to return the punt, but Bernard Jackson is still on the ground at the 30-yard line. Bill Thompson and the trainers around him. And I'm sure that Bernard will hear all kinds of chimes as he goes to the sidelines. Now Oakland has come back. They lead Houston in the third quarter, 24-22. Jackson steered to the far side of the field. Line of scrimmage is the San Diego 33. And 10 men at the line of scrimmage for Denver. Chris Payne waits at the Bronco 28-yard line. West to punt. Stands at his 19. 4th and 3. Getting a long count. There's the snap. West kicks it high. Payne to his right. 29-yard line. 30 trying to run behind some blocking. Reverses. Crosses the 34. That's all. And Rick Middleton is the first man to get there. So the Broncos will start from the 34-yard line. There is a flag upfield. And it's in the general area where a team can be offside or illegal man downfield. And I think the Broncos will let the Chargers punt it again, Larry.
We've received word from the Bronco bench that Andy Maurer had banged up a knee and could return to the game, and I just noticed that when the offensive unit was coming on, he was returning to the game.
Broncos take the illegal man penalty, move the ball back to the 28-yard line, and will force West to punt it again. Still a lot of people around Bernard Jackson on the far side. Line of scrimmage now the 28. 4th and 8 for the Chargers. West waiting at the 13. Gets the kick away, and Payne under it at the 34, 35, 40, and pulled down from behind across the 45 to the 46-yard line by Owens. So the Broncos will start from the 46, and we've got another Bronco shaken up on the play. It is Chris Payne who is a little slow to get to his feet. A timeout with 6:02 to go in the third quarter. Broncos will start from their own 46-yard line with a score now San Diego 14, Denver 10. A timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
There's a certain quality about some organizations that sets them apart. You've seen it. It's the way their people work together with precision to produce something exceptional for their patrons. In my business, our musicians blend their talents to create beautiful music to make each concert something special. In the automobile business, there is a dealership here in Denver that blends the varied talents of their people much the same way we do. The sales, service, and staff people at Silterhar Ford are working closely to ensure customer satisfaction. As one who appreciates that very special kind of teamwork, I salute the people at Silterhar Ford. I'm Jesse Cecchi, concertmaster for the Denver Symphony Orchestra.
Ford's new Fairmont offers style and efficiency, and it's on display right now at Silterhar Ford, Highway 287 in Broomfield. Come see the new Ford Fairmont.
Well, after signaling the timeout, they don't take it. And Morton throws a 9-yard pass up the middle to Odoms on first down, and the Broncos have a 2nd and 1 at the Charger 45-yard line. Odoms starts in motion to the left. The handoff is to Jensen coming to the right. He is at the 40, drives to the 38 and out of bounds at the 37 along the near sideline. Another Denver first down. Mike Williams.
Houston has gone back in front of Oakland now. Houston 29, Oakland 24 in the third period. other note, they've been working on Paul Howard's ankle. Howard is not in the game at the moment. Steve Schindler is playing the left guard position.
And they've swung Glassick around to the right side. A lot of people banged up. Morton to throw. Here is the pressure. He throws it to Armstrong. Armstrong across the 40, over the 35, and goes to the 33-yard line. Just as Morton was about to be sacked, he popped the ball straight ahead to Armstrong, and Armstrong ran for 5. Tackled by Woodrow Lowe. Now the Broncos are at the Charger 33-yard line. That's the point from which Morton launched a 33-yard touchdown pass to Haven Moses a few moments ago. Made the score 14-10, San Diego. Broncos have had a lot of people chopped up. Upchurch, Paul Smith, Bernard Jackson, although I see Jackson up with the defensive unit now. Moses in motion from left to right out of the slot. And the handoff is to Lytle, coming to the right side. Grab. He gets away from one tackler and goes to the 30-yard line. Denver will have a 3rd down and 2. And Don Good made the finishing tackle.
Checking into the ball game is Charles Dujournay. Morton is now 8 for 20 for 113 yards, including that one touchdown, and Armstrong will replace Lytle.
That's the shuttle from the Denver bench. Broncos obviously much sharper in the 3rd quarter than they were in the first half. Both receivers, Moses and Dahlman, go left. 3rd and 2 at the Charger 30-yard line, and the handoff is to Jensen, who dives and does not make it. Got about a half yard is all, and Woodrow Lowe is there. Let's see what the Broncos want to do. 4th and 2 at the 30-yard line. A field goal attempt, if any, would be a 47-yarder, but they're not going to do anything other than send in a double tight end and go for it. 4th and 2 Broncos at the Charger 30-yard line. Tight formation. Morton wants the crowd to hold it down and now heads back toward the huddle with all the noise.
I think you signaled for a timeout.
And he went over to the sideline. That's exactly what he did. The official said, get back out here, and Morton has to come back far enough to tell him he called a timeout. 3 minutes and 3 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. This is a big spot for the Broncos if they can get something here, and probably not a bad place to take a timeout, but they do it with 3:03 to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Chargers leading 14-10. Fumble recovery by Dean. He ran it in from the 11, and then that 32-yard pass from Washington to Joyner, accounting for the San Diego scores. Denver had a 35-yard field goal from Turner in the 1st quarter, and now a 33-yard touchdown pass, Morton to Moses, for a touchdown, a drive that went 66 yards in 9 plays.
Keep you up to date on those 2 games still going, both of them important in the various races. The Minnesota Vikings leading Cincinnati 21-10 in the 3rd period, and they're really having a Donnybrook up in Oakland. Houston 29 and Oakland 24. That is in the 3rd period. And that only discomforting thing about all that is the Broncos still must play Houston in a couple of weeks down in Houston. This is a team that obviously is improving.
Paul Howard is back in, Larry. And Glassick has returned to left guard, Howard the right guard. Tight formation, 4th and 2 at the 30-yard line with Lytle and Jensen the running backs. And Morton gives the ball to Lytle, trying to go on the sweep. He is pulled down short of the line of scrimmage at the 32-yard line, loss of 2, and the Chargers take over. Hal Stringert made the play.
Well, the Broncos tried to cross them up, Bob. They had everybody bunched into the middle. I was sort of looking for maybe the bootleg, but I guess you really can't run that one too often because I imagine San Diego was looking for it too. So it was just a direct handoff and a sweep attempt by Lytle, but Rob just couldn't get out there because Stringert came up quickly to make a nice play.
Chargers take over at their 32-yard line. Young and Washington are the running backs. Rogers starts in motion. Handoff is to Young, and he is thrown back after he gets about a half a yard. Bob Swenson made the stop for Denver. Second and 10. McDonald for Rogers.
Broncos are now at 192 yards, 100 rushing, 92 passing. That's total offense, 192. San Diego, 205.
Chargers shift into the I with Washington, the tailback, behind Young. Second down, fake the handoff. Harris is back, now pursued, throws into the left flat to Washington, one-on-one with Foley, and Washington carries the ball out of bounds at the 41-yard line, about a yard short of the first down. Good move by Joe Washington, as Foley was confronting him around the 37-yard line. Gradishar and Rizzo came over to help out on the tackle, and the Chargers changed the formation on third and short. They will send in Pat Curran, the veteran tight end from Lakeland, Wisconsin, 6'3", 238. Joyner comes out. Chargers at their own 41. Have Rogers as a wing in tight at the right side. Give the ball to Washington. Reverses to Rogers coming to the left, and he's in the open field at the 50. He is at the 40, at the 30, and angled out of bounds at the Denver 26-yard line. What execution on that. You just have to give them credit for it. They made beautiful execution. The hand to Washington. He gave it off to Rogers coming out of the wing. And when you let Johnny get out in the open, watch out because he can really move. There's the hand to Washington, back to Rogers. And Washington hid the ball very, very well after he gave it to Rogers. And Harris was out there giving him a block on the corner. James Harris came out there and blocked out Foley. And that gave him the running room. And really a fine play all the way around. Now first down for the Chargers at the Bronco 26-yard line. Matthews is in. Handoff is to Washington. Running right, chase, way back to the 35, tackled at the 36 by Lewis Wright.
And now let's give some credit to that Bronco defense, the way they come battling back there on the sweep. Lewis Wright making the quick commitment from cornerback, and that'll do it every time. And Wright makes a heck of a play, coming up quickly to cut off Washington. Joe tried to reverse and swing back to the right, but couldn't get the job done, as Randy Gradishar was also there. 31 for Oakland, 29 for Houston, as the Raiders have scored, and they're still in the third period.
10-yard loss, second down and 20 at the Denver 36 for the Chargers. They lead 14-10. Both receivers wide to the left. And Harris back on second down, throwing it to the right side. It is incomplete, broken up by Rizzo, who punched the ball away from Matthews at the 33-yard line.
So now the Broncos have San Diego in a situation where it's third down and very long yardage, 3rd and 20. And Harris has to gamble somewhat here if they're to keep this drive going. Last time they were in this position with a fourth down, they tried a field goal from 51 yards. I suspect they wouldn't try that again. Don't know, though. Maybe they would. But a very important play for Denver right here. Incidentally, Jackson has come back into the ball game. He was shaken up, but he's okay.
Joyner left. Dwight McDonald wide right at the Denver 36. 3rd and 20. Harris is back. He's blitzed. He throws for the end zone for Joyner. It is knocked away. Broken up beautifully by Foley. And for the first time, the Broncos really got in on Harris.
Charlie Joyner. Broken up by number 43, Steve Foley. And number 29, Bernard Jackson.
Now it is 4th down and 20 for the Chargers at the Denver 36-yard line. And this time, Larry, the punter, is out. No field goal attempt. Billy Thompson going back for the Broncos. Upchurch is out of the game with a muscle pull. Smith is out. Other people have been banged up and have returned. Lytle, Howard, Bernard Jackson, all have been back. 4th and 20 at the Denver 36-yard line. West waits at the 50. Thompson back at the 10, and West kicks it to the sidelines and out of bounds, but not very far upfield. Where do they mark it?
It'll be around the 20.
21. 15-yard punt by West, and the Broncos will start from the 21-yard line.
A 15-yard punt for Jeff West.
1 minute and 3 seconds to go, third quarter. Chargers 14 and Broncos 10. The attendance is 45,211. They sold an additional 1,360 tickets, and those are the no-shows. Chargers, once upon a time, could expect to fill this stadium on most Sundays, and now they just hope to get 48,000 in here.
With an exciting young team, you'd have to believe that that would be doing just a little bit better now in the future, because I think this is certainly, as we were talking about at halftime, an up-and-coming team. Next week, we'll remind you again, the Broncos will be playing in Kansas City against the Chiefs. Today, the Chiefs lost 28-27 to the Chicago Bears.
Denver starts from the 21. To Jensen. Jensen coming to the right, cuts back behind Lytle's block and goes to the 26. Armstrong's block. Jensen out across the 25 to the 26-yard line, and Graham makes the stop there. 2nd and 5. Bronco drive stalling. The last time downfield, they had a 4th and 2 at the Charger 30. Lytle lost a couple on a sweep. Chargers took over. Got the ball to the Denver 36 when they stalled. Punt out of bounds on the 21, and now the Broncos have a 2nd and 5 at the 26. Odoms is a wing back to the right side, in motion from the wing. Lytle and Jensen. It is Jensen. Jensen starting to the right, and he's grabbed and put down at about the 27-yard line by Don Good.
Jensen, the ball carrier.
A yard or so on the play, and the Broncos have a 3rd down 4.
Leroy Jones and number 50, Don Good.
Schindler's back in.
A 1-yard advance.
Clock is running down on the third quarter. It is over. At the end of the third quarter, it is San Diego 14 and Denver 10, and a timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
Well, we've got one more quarter to go in this one. The Broncos fell behind 7-0 when San Diego scored in the first period on a picked-up fumble by Dean, and he carried it into the end zone. Broncos got on the board also in the first period on a field goal by Jim Turner. Then San Diego scored on a Joe Washington to Joyner pass, a halfback pass, and that made it 14-3. That's what it was at halftime. Craig Morton threw to Haven Moses for the Broncos touchdown in the third period, so that's how it stands at 14-10. Denver's total offense through 3 periods, 198 yards, and San Diego 237. Passing 92 yards for Denver, 106 rushing yards on 29 rushes. San Diego 90 rushing and 147 passing.
Broncos now headed west, right to left. 3rd and 4 at the 27. Have Schindler back in at left guard and Vlasic at right. Howard out of the game. Morton is submerged. He pumped it once, and that was the end of it, as he was hit by Gary Johnson and goes down inside the 20.
Johnson just gathered everybody up, including Morton. He took an offensive lineman with him. He took a back with him and just went right into Craig, and the whole group was down on the ground. Morton has now been sacked 4 times for a loss of 30 yards.
And Johnny Rogers is the deep man on the punt return team.
Johnny Rogers.
Bucky Dilts waits at the 4-yard line. 4th down, about 12. High punt. Rogers waiting for it at the 48, is at the 50, and is down at the Bronco 45. Tackled by Chris Payne.
A 33-yard punt for number 10, Bucky Dilts. A 6-yard
So now
for Johnny Rogers.
the Chargers take the ball in Denver territory with 14:34 to play in the fourth quarter, and San Diego leading 14-10. A timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
Bubble up your laughter, bubble up your tears, bubble up your everyday, and bubble up your years. Bubble up your work, bubble up your rest, bubble up your bad times, and bubble up your best.
Whatever you're doing, do it with Bubble Up, the sparkling lemon lime soft drink that gives you the tart, tangy flavor of a kiss of lemon, kiss of lime. Bubble Up, the anytime lemon lime drink that makes everything better.
Bubble up your meals, bubble up your snacks, bubble up your income, and bubble up your tax.
So come on, pour yourself the cold, clear, bubbly lemon lime taste of Bubble Up and
bubble up your best friend. Bubble up your wife, bubble up your bubble up, and bubble up your life.
Chargers Chargers come out of this now with good field position at the 45-yard line of the Broncos, and with 14:34 left to go in the game, still a lot of time, but San Diego would like to put points on the board here.
Joyner left, Rogers to the right side. Matthews and Joe Washington, the running backs. Rogers in motion. Crosses behind Harris, who takes the snap and gives it to Washington, and Washington is across the 40 to the Denver 38-yard line. Chavis and Manor making the tackle with some help from Bernard Jackson. The quickness of Joe Washington inside.
Well, the Broncos also blitz. They had, they call it the dog, and they had Gradishar coming through there, and I'm not sure Harris picked it up or just had the right play call, but Washington went right through where Gradishar would have been.
2nd down, 4. This time McDonald starts in motion, and it is Bo Matthews trying to roll off to the right side. He may have the first down. He got across the 35-yard line. Billy Thompson making the tackle on him. He does have the first down.
Good second effort by Bo, as he was hit about 3 yards further upfield than that and just bulled his way forward.
So now the ball is at the Bronco 34. First down for the Chargers, their 9th of the game. Denver has 11. 13:29 to play, and San Diego ahead 14-10. Rogers returns, is wide right. Joyner has gone left. It is Matthews again. Starts left, cuts back, gets to the 30-yard line, and Rizzo brings him down. Gain of 4 yards, close to 5.
Pretty good collision right there by Rizzo and Matthews.
2nd and 6. Clarence Williams, who has been a kick returner, was in for a moment, and he is out. Matthews is back, and they send Washington wide right, then return him with Matthews to the backfield. 2nd and 6 at the Denver 30-yard line. Matthews straight ahead and driving to the Denver 26-yard line. And now the Chargers have a 3rd down, about 1.5 yards.
4-yard advance.
Well, the Chargers not trying anything fancy on this series of downs, just going straight ahead. They had the one play that Washington broke on the draw, and then a couple of charges here by Matthews up the middle, and they've moved it down in a fairly good position.
3rd down, about 1.5 yards at the Denver 25. Tight formation. Matthews is the up back. Williams the tailback. They give it to Williams. He dives and is pushed back, and let's see. I don't think he made that.
No, he's going to be about a half yard short.
He got a little bit of yardage, half a yard maybe. Tried to dive over the top. And they are spotting the ball between the 24 and 25. It will be a 4th down for the Chargers at the Bronco 24-yard line. Rogers comes in from the bench. Joyner goes out.
Well, Harris will buy a little time here. Minnesota has scored again. They're in the 4th period. Vikings 35, Cincinnati 10.
They are short by about the length of the football and seem inclined to go for it. Not all that bad a gamble. If they don't make it, they leave the Broncos in relatively poor field position. Come the Chargers to the line of scrimmage. They want to change the football. 4th down, half a yard to go at the Denver 24-yard line. Still Matthews and Williams in the eye. Rogers a wing to the right side, and they give the ball to Williams. He dives and is pushed back again, and I don't know. Very close at the 24-yard line. The Broncos are convinced that they've taken over.
It'll really depend where they place the ball, and where they have placed it. It appears to me it's going to be short, but we'll have to wait till they stretch out the chains.
And here comes the chain. There is the measurement. Denver's ball.
Well, a big defensive effort there for the Broncos, as again the Chargers went up the middle, and that time they didn't pick it up. But it leaves the Broncos at the 24-yard line. The big factor is, of course, that it doesn't keep this drive alive for San Diego and give them opportunity to get points. And Denver stays just 4 points behind.
And now they are calling a timeout. with a score, San Diego 14, Denver 10, and 11:55 to play in the fourth quarter. Timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
Today, everyone takes the goal of cutting down on wasted energy seriously. But turning that goal into a reality means developing good habits when you use your appliances. Public Service Company would like to help. So let's talk about how to get the most out of one of them, your automatic clothes dryer. Your dryer can't tell if it's drying a handkerchief or a whole load of laundry, so it uses as much energy on each. Waiting until you have a full load is the best way to cut down on energy waste from your dryer. Another way is by choosing the proper temperature. Different kinds of things require different amounts of heat, so watch out for over-drying. Not only does it waste energy, it's not good for the fabric either. Another good thing to do is to vent your dryer and keep it unclogged. A clogged vent can result in needless energy consumption and be a potential fire hazard. And be sure to keep your lint filter clean. A dirty lint filter can lengthen drying time, and it can be a fire hazard. Public Service Company hopes you find this information useful.
That was an excellent opportunity for the Chargers starting at the Bronco 45, but the Denver defense does the job again. We see that Paul Howard has returned to the lineup. He's playing with a bad ankle, and Andy Maurer also in there playing with a bad leg.
From their own 24, moving from right to left, Perrin and Armstrong are the Denver runners. And the fake as Morton is back, sets it up, lobs it to Armstrong coming out of the backfield, complete to the 30-yard line. Just a short pass to Armstrong, straight ahead for 6, second down and 4. Tom Graham makes the tackle.
Tackle by number 58, Tom Graham.
I have to think, Larry, that a lot of that kind of thing will work against this rush-minded San Diego defense. Second and 4 from the 30. Lytle shifts back from a wingback. He and Armstrong are the messengers now with Upchurch hurt. Morton, quick pass, and it's incomplete. Odoms is complaining that he was tripped as he went into the pattern. He was supposed to be the receiver, and he tripped over Leroy Jones. So now Denver has a 3rd and 4 at the 30-yard line.
Armstrong has come into the huddle, and Lytle leaves. And that's been the play-calling combination since Upchurch was injured.
Moses right, Golden left. Odoms tight end right. 3rd and 4 Broncos at the 30. And Morton rolling to the right, throws on the run, broken up. It was intended for Perrin and knocked away by Don Good, and the Broncos will have to punt.
So this Charger defense continues to do the job, too, and fairly well, except for that one touchdown drive the Broncos had of 66 yards. Keep Denver bottled up in their own territory.
Number 20.
Rogers again is the safety. Dilts will punt from the 15 on a 4th and 4. High snap, but not much of a rush as they have the return on, and Dilts really puts it high. A flag downfield as Rogers drops the ball. It is picked up on the run by Turk, and he will take it to the end zone, but let's see what the flag is all about. Rogers went for the ball, did not get it. Turk picked it up and ran it in, but we had flags down before the ball ever got there. And the first signal from the Chargers is it's a Bronco penalty.
The reaction of the Denver bench is that it's a Bronco penalty, too. As Red Miller came running up the sideline, and the officials had something to say, and personal foul is the indication.
And a personal foul, he just pointed toward the Chargers.
Yes, he did.
But they're bringing the ball back, and now the rest of the players are huddled up downfield.
Well, the flag went down while the ball was in the air. It was after the punt, and that's when he threw the flag.
Bring it back to the 30, the line of scrimmage, and 15-yard penalty to the Bronco 15.
Didn't hear who it was on.
But the net result is that Dilts will now have to punt from the goal line, and Rogers has moved to the Broncos side of the 50. It is 4th down and 19. And And Diltz hangs it high, but doesn't kick it all that far. It goes toward the far side. Takes a Bronco bounce over the 50. Rogers backing off, and the ball goes all the way to the 37-yard line and is spiked by Godwin Turk. The Broncos got almost 20 yards of roll out of that. And a 49-yard punt. And the Chargers start at their 37-yard line. 10:46 left. San Diego 14 and Denver 10.
Well, the officials looked the other way when Godwin Turk spiked that ball. Because Denver could have drawn an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for that.
Washington and Matthews are the running backs for the Chargers. They have Rogers right, Joyner left, line tight end right, and hand the ball to Washington, and he is pinned behind the line of scrimmage. Billy Thompson had him trapped, and Barney Chavis makes the tackle.
We understand from the press box that the personal foul call was on Chris Payne on that punt.
A 1-yard loss. And now San Diego has a 2nd and 11 at their own 35. Just over 10 minutes to play. Chargers taking a long time in the huddle at the 25-yard line now. Call a timeout. So San Diego decides not to take a chance, and Harris comes to the sidelines. 10:05 left in the fourth quarter, and it is San Diego 14, Denver 10. Back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
Have you heard about the car that took Europe by storm? It's called Fiesta, Ford Fiesta, and you can test drive one right now at your greater Denver area Ford dealers. Based on a comparison of sales in the first 6 months, Ford Fiesta has outsold every new car nameplate ever introduced in Europe, and no wonder. Fiesta's advanced European engineering includes front disc brakes, front-wheel drive for extra traction even on ice and snow, McPherson front suspension, rack and pinion steering, and Michelin radial tires. Fiesta is engineered to be easy on service, too, but that's only a part of the story. Your Ford dealer's Fiesta is EPA rated at 46 miles per gallon highway, 34 miles per gallon city. Your mileage may vary. And best news of all, Fiesta is sticker priced at just $3,680, excluding taxes, title, and destination charges. That's right, just $3,680. Test drive a Fiesta today at your greater Denver area Ford dealers. The new Ford Fiesta, the car that took Europe by storm. Drive it, and you'll know why.
Bob, it appears that Godwin Turk injured his shoulder when he made that spike a moment ago, and he's going to the dressing room.
Washington and Matthews, the running backs for the Chargers. They have a 3rd and 11 from their 35 after that loss. And the bootleg back by Harris. He has lots of time. He looks, he throws, overthrows Joyner at the 50. Incomplete. Joyner covered by Steve Foley, and the ball way over both of them. Let's take 10 seconds for station identification. 10 seconds on the Denver Bronco Network.
The Morning Report, 6 to 10 a.m. on KOA Denver.
Godwin Turk, with the trainers holding his right arm and shoulder, is going to the Denver dressing room. He appears to be out of it. Dislocated shoulder is the indication.
Well, that's a very smart thing to do. 3rd down and 11 from the 35. Both receivers go left. And Harris is back to throw, being pressured, throws it into the right flat. Matthews at the 37, at the 40, at the 47. He's close to the first down. He may have it. Bo Matthews just bullying his way through Rizzo and through Swenson, and he should have the first down on a 3rd down and 11.
Fine effort by Bo Matthews. Bo is the #1 draft choice out of Colorado and has been somewhat of a disappointment, although he's hung on with the team. And I think, Bob, this would have to be perhaps the best effort we've seen Matthews make in the 3 or 4 years that he's been here with San Diego and playing against Denver.
Big play there. Now the Chargers at their 47 have a first down. 14-10 lead. Young is in for Matthews, and the handoff is to Young, trying to roll off and go outside, and he is down at the 50, gets his head across to the 49. Steve Foley makes the tackle there. Young tried to come into the middle, bounced off that, and rolled off to his left. Gets 3 yards. 2nd down and 7. San Diego wants the ball, and they just want to peel time off the clock. 8 minutes and 48 seconds to play.
Harris has passed 21 times, completed 11, 129 yards.
Rogers right, Joyner left. The ball at the 50. They start Rogers in motion and give the ball to Young, and Young to the Denver side of the 50 gets near the 47 before he is thrown back.
And off to Joe Washington.
Randy Gradishar made that tackle. They also had Hank Bauer in the backfield. He is a one-year man from Cal Lutheran, 5'10", 195. And not the one you're thinking of. Third down, a little over 4 at the Bronco 47-yard line. 8 minutes left. Chargers lead 14-10. Bauer is out. Matthews is back in again. 3rd and 4. Harris on a delay gives the ball to Young, and he's got the first down at the Bronco 41-yard line, just into the middle. The delay worked well. And a first down at the Bronco 41. Billy Thompson makes the tackle.
Well, the big thing that this does for San Diego is keep the ball away from the Broncos. They started this back at their 36-yard line and have driven now for a couple of first downs. They now have 11 rather, 6 passing and 5 rushing.
Rogers wide right, Joyner left. And this time it is Washington trying to climb everybody in the middle. Goes across the 40 to the Denver 39-yard line. Joe Washington tried to scale somebody's back. Alzado makes the stop. And the gain is a yard and a half, and second down coming up. The Chargers with the ball at the Bronco 39-yard line, and the clock is down to 6:52.
And the Chargers are using just as much of it as they possibly can.
They started at their own 36. They haven't gone that far, but they have taken a lot of time off the clock already. Second down at the Denver 39. Harris on the draw to Washington. Washington trying to go left, goes nowhere. Swarmed on at the line of scrimmage. Alzado hit him first. Now the Chargers have a 3rd down and 9 at the Bronco 39.
Well, this is a situation the Denver defense wanted to set up. They had it a moment ago when the Chargers came up with a pass to Bo Matthews, and Matthews, with a great effort, was able to pick up the first down. But now it's 3rd and long, out at the 39-yard line, and the Denver defense digs in for a big play here.
Washington actually lost a half a yard. Rogers and Joyner wide left. Rogers in motion out of the slot. And Harris is back to throw. He looks some more. He wants to run. He is still on his feet. He's lost the football. It's bouncing around at the 40. It is picked up by Swenson, trying to lateral the ball off. Gradishar has it. It's Denver's ball at their own 49-yard line. Harris was being sacked. He tried to run when Alzado had him wrapped up. He lost the ball. Broncos have recovered the fumble and have it at their own 49-yard line with now 5 minutes and 41 seconds to go, and Harris shaken up, being helped up to his feet, and he is limping badly.
That's the first time that he has been sacked, and the Broncos also have an injured man down there, Bob. I think it's Alzado. But he's okay. He's up, and he was going into the offensive huddle, I guess, just to tell the guys to get it going. So a sack on Harris, the first time he's been sacked today. And James comes to the sideline injured as the Chargers now begin to warm up Bill Munson on the sideline as they work on Harris's knee. But he dumped the ball out, and the Broncos almost turned that one into a touchdown. But they have it out at the 49-yard line, which would give them excellent field position with 5 minutes and 41 seconds to go. They trail 14-10, but this would be the time to do it if they don't really have that far to go. That's the type of breaks that the offense has always been looking for and normally capitalizes on it. They drove 66 yards for their only touchdown, and Craig Morton surveys the situation as he waits for time to get back in. They're 51 yards away. Broncos obviously need the 6 points. The field goal wouldn't help them.
Unless they thought they could get 2.
Unless they get it in a hurry.
5:41. From their own 49. Moses left, Dolbin right. I formation, Perrin and Armstrong. Howard is in at the right guard. Pitch back to Armstrong, reverse to Moses, drops the ball, picks it up, and is thrown for a loss at the 40. Leroy Jones came through. That type of
play worked very well earlier for San Diego, but this time the fact that Moses dropped the ball took all kind of deception away from it, and San Diego was just able to tee off and come in and get him.
Second down and 19 from the 40-yard line for Denver. Moses right and Dolvin left. Moses starts in motion. The fake. Morton is back. Looks, throws it to Lytle. Off his fingertips and incomplete. Out of bounds. Far side. Tom Graham was the coverage man. I don't know that Lytle would have gone particularly far with that ball, but he had a chance to catch it, and there have been a lot of those today.
Certainly has. We understand that James Harris has injured his right ankle and probably will not return, and Bill Munson is very seriously warming up on the sideline. He's the ex-Detroit Lion. He was with Seattle also earlier this year.
4:57 left. It is 3rd and 19 for the Broncos at their 40, behind 14-10. They need a first down here. Morton back, looks, steps up in the pocket, throws it long for Odoms, off his hands and incomplete at the 30-yard line. He is screaming interference in San Diego territory. He won't get the call, and the Broncos will have to punt the football. Mike Fuller was deep. The pass was a little bit high, but it's the kind that Odoms usually gobbles up.
Morton is now 9 for 25 for 118 yards and 1 touchdown. And the way the Denver fans cheer their defense, well, that's what's happening here with the San Diego fans.
Dilts will punt on a 4th and 19 from his own 40. Rogers back at the Charger 25. There is the snap, and a very high punt by Dilts. It backs Rogers inside the 15, fumbles the ball, picks it up at the 10, is back to the 11, and there he is hit and loses the ball, but after the whistle had blown. John Schultz made the hit at the end of a 50-yard punt, and the Chargers will start at their own 11 with Munson into quarterback. So, Larry, the Denver defense still has a chance if they can hold the Chargers here.
Absolutely.
Best punt of the day, and it came at the right time.
Dilts did a great job. The last couple of punts have been very clutch in the clutch situations, and he's done a good job. And now Munson is in at quarterback.
From his own 11-yard line. Chargers are set, taking their time. Handoff is to about the 13-yard line, and that's all as Young just tried to come into the middle. Stopped by Bryson Manor. Got 1 yard. 2nd down and 9. Clock is at 4:22. Broncos and Chargers each with 2 timeouts.
Manor, Alzado, and Grant are the front 3 right now for Denver.
14-10 San Diego trying to hang on to the lead. It was 14-3 at the half. 2nd and 9 from their own 12. McDonald in motion. Handoff is Young to the 15, maybe the 16-yard line. He tried to cut back behind the blocking wall. Alzado makes the tackle, and the ball is at the Bronco 17-yard line, and now the Chargers have a 3rd down and 4. Johnny Rogers off the bench, 3:42 left.
Paul Smith, as we told you, is injured in the first period of the game, and Paul is now out of uniform. He's in his civilian clothes on the sideline.
3rd down and 4 Chargers at their 17-yard line. Munson handing off to Washington. No gain. Bob Swenson makes the tackle. Washington right into the middle. No gain on the play. 1-yard gain. And the Chargers on a 4th and 4.
Rick Upchurch, Bob.
Upchurch is back. Waiting at the Bronco 42-yard line.
Well, the defense has done its job. It keeps San Diego inside the 20, cuts off the first down. West will have to punt now from around his goal line, and Upchurch, who was not supposed to return, is back in there.
West stands at the 3. Upchurch at the Denver 43. 10 men at the line of scrimmage for the Broncos. Less than 3 minutes to play. Snap back to West. Kicks it toward the near side. Upchurch moving over under it. Has it at the 40-yard line. Trying to cut upfield. Runs into one of his own people and is down at the 46. So the Broncos will start from their own 46-yard line. 42-yard punt and about a 6-yard return. Hal Stringert makes the tackle, and the Broncos in what could be their last chance on offense will start from their 45-yard line. 2 minutes and 37 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Chargers 14 and Broncos 10. Armstrong in motion to the left. Morton is back, drills the ball short of Dalton, incomplete at the Charger 45. Threw it in front of him. Tom Graham coming over to the sidelines, and Stringer deep. 2:34 left, and the Broncos are now faced with a 2nd and 10 up at their 45. Morton back again on 2nd down. Throwing, it is incomplete. Lytle was well covered by Graham. He was the intended receiver at the 50, and it is 3rd and 10. Moses was a little bit deeper and a little bit closer to the center of the field, but he was also covered by Mike Fuller. Morton had time there. The protection was good. And Minnesota's making it a runaway in the fourth period. Vikings 42, Cincinnati 10. Morton is now 9 for 27, 118 yards and a touchdown. Oakland continues to lead Houston 31-29 as that game has calmed down a little bit. 3rd and 10 Broncos at their own 45-yard line. Perrin and Armstrong are the running backs. Morton is back. He throws up the far side for Moses. It is incomplete, and a flag goes down. A flag down for tripping at the 30-yard line. A flag down, penalty, Chargers at their 30-yard line. Interference against San Diego. Let's see if we can see just what had happened. The pass was intended down there for Moses. And it's a little hard to see what the problem was on that. Denver ball at the Charger 30. The fake and the pressure, and Morton trying to get the ball to Perrin. It is an incomplete pass. Oh, what a break for Denver. Oh, I'll say. Morton was about to be sacked for a big loss. He threw the ball at Perrin's feet, but unlike the grounding call earlier against the Chargers' James Harris, there was a receiver nearby. Harris just threw his ball at the feet of an offensive lineman. Somebody just lost their coat from up above. Got clothes floating down in front of our booth. Dean is being helped off the field, and the big play for Morton, really getting rid of the ball. Dean is out of the game at the moment. Upchurch and Moses left. 2nd and 10 Denver at the Charger 30-yard line. Broncos have to do something about that pass rush, and there is movement as the ball is handed to Lytle, and he is stopped behind the line of scrimmage, but there are flags on the play. I think maybe there will be a penalty against the Chargers. Saw the Chargers in the neutral zone. You always have to worry about whether they were drawn off. Offside San Diego. 2nd down, 5 at the Charger 25. 2 minutes and 14 seconds to play. Chargers 14, Broncos 10. San Diego's now been penalized 9 times for 90 yards. Perrin, Armstrong are the running backs. Moses left, Dalton right. 2nd and 5 at the 25. Morton wants to throw quickly, looks to his right, throws it to Armstrong. He's on his feet at the 20, at the 15, to the 14, to the 13. Otis Armstrong made a good catch of a pass that was a little low, spun away from a would-be tackler at the 20, and picks up the first down at the 14-yard line, and we have arrived at the 2-minute warning. 1st and 10 Denver at the Charger 14-yard line. The score, San Diego 14, Denver 10. Back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
Frontier announces the businessman's 2-hour vacation to Sacramento.
Travel the skyway, the Frontier flyway, discover the new frontier. Traveling together, traveling wherever, discover the new frontier.
Frontier's new non-stop service to Sacramento is a lot like a 2-hour vacation with complimentary California wines, meals that are making us famous, special dessert service, and a free copy of the Wall Street Journal, along with first-class legroom, all at coach prices. Frontier's new service to Sacramento with 2 non-stops every day. Call a professional travel agent or Frontier for reservations.
The new frontier. Discover the new frontier.
Well, we've got 2 minutes to go in this one. Broncos have 2 timeouts remaining, and they have the ball with a first down at the San Diego 13.5-yard line. We'll mark that ball precisely for you because that's how far it is away. The Broncos need a touchdown. I think enough time has run off where I think they would turn down the field goal with the opportunity to get the touchdown. We'll have to wait and see in strategy on that. The strategy continues on the far side as Craig Martin has gone back over to talk to Red Miller and now trots back out to the huddle. The ball at the 13.5-yard line, 2 minutes to go. Broncos with 2 timeouts remaining, trailing 14-10. David Moses left, Jack Dolben right. Lytle and Perrin are the running backs. Odom's tight end left. First down at the 13.5. Morton looking, throwing it to the right side. Deflected, and there are flags all over the place. And it looks like a holding call on Denver. The pass was intended in the right flat for Lytle. Leroy Jones got a piece of the ball, but the Broncos are called for holding.
Leroy Jones. Penalty flag down on the field.
Martin looking left, and then he looked back out to the right to the pattern being run by Lytle, and then Jones reached up and tapped it away, but the holding call puts it back to the 24-yard line. So now it is 1st and 20 from the 24, a minute 56 left, and the defense cheers are a little louder than the Go Broncos Go cheers. 1st and 20 at the 24. Morton sets up quickly, throws it to the far corner. It is incomplete along the sidelines, intended for Dolben, who was double covered. Shaw and Dove were there, and the Broncos send in Upchurch with a play. It is a 2nd and 20 at the 24 for Denver, 1:52 to go. Chargers 14, Broncos 10. San Diego led 14-3 at the half. Morton to Moses, a 33-yard touchdown pass for the Broncos score in the 3rd quarter. Upchurch and Moses both wide to the left. Slot formation. Armstrong and Perrin. Morton taking a deep setup, throwing the pass for Odoms. It's complete at the 12, and he's out of bounds near the 13-yard line. Riley Odoms makes the catch and is run out of bounds by Good and Graham at the 13-yard line, and Denver will have a 3rd down and about 9.
Pushed out of bounds by number
at the 13. Obviously, in this situation, they can use all 4 downs. Lytle is in. Dolben is in. Well, the strategy here now, with 2 more to go, they can, of course, pick up that 1st down. Would think that their main objective now is just to get the ball down further and perhaps set it up where they could go for a 1st down if they can't get the score. 3rd and 9 at the 13. And the handoff is to Perrin to the right side. He is run out of bounds near the 7. It will be 4th down between the 7 and 8-yard line. 4th down and about 4. And Perrin getting out of bounds stops the clock with 1:41 to go. And a good call there. The Chargers obviously thinking pass, and the handoff to Perrin. It was a good gain. Didn't get quite as much as the Broncos would want, but you do have to mix up the plays in this situation too, and rather than throwing right in the teeth of a defense. And Larry Odoms was shaken up after he made that catch, took himself out of the ball game. Egloff has come in at tight end. looks like the
Broncos are taking a timeout here. No reason not to. The ball is at the Charger 8-yard line. They need to go 4.5 yards for a first down. 8 yards, obviously, for a touchdown. 1 minute and 41 seconds left, and the Broncos, I'm sure at this point, want to be absolutely certain on what they are calling and how they execute it. Odoms is back in. Next week, Denver at Kansas City. Our pregame coverage begins at 11. Our network broadcast at 11:45. Stay tuned following today's game for all of the scores from around the National Football League, the standings, and statistics on the Bronco-Charger game.
Tom Graham had come to the sideline to check with his defensive people. The offensive strategy session is over on the far side. Rob Lytle and Craig Morton back into the huddle. And it all sort of boils down to this one. They've got to pick up the first down on this play, or San Diego will take over with the opportunity of just running out the clock. The crowd will be loud. Craig Morton will have trouble calling the signals. Broncos continue the huddle as the 30-second clock runs down now to 15 seconds.
Moses left, Dalvin right. Perrin and Lytle are the Denver running backs. Odoms is a wing to the right side. Starts in motion out of that wing. Morton on 4th and 4. Looks, throws. Moses, touchdown! Haven Moses making the catch at the back of the end zone. And the Broncos come out to surround Craig Morton. Denver leads 16-14. Player injured, or at least shaken up for the Broncos. Trying to get a look at the 10-yard line. The Broncos have taken the lead 16-14 with 1 minute and 36 seconds to go.
Great pass by Morton and a fine pattern run right out in front of the post to Haven Moses. There was actually a crisscross there, and Moses comes up with the football and a fine catch. And what a clutch performance for the Broncos. It's Paul Howard, who's been in and out of the game all day, who is the Broncos shaken up on the play, and Paul is being helped to the sideline. So now the Broncos are in front 16-14, and Jim Turner will make the attempt to add the extra point.
And the importance of the extra point is not to be sneezed at either.
Right.
16-14. Weiss will hold. High snap, ball down, kick is good. 1 minute and 36 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. And Turner, Naples wave at the Bronco fans, that big, big splash of orange up there in the northwest corner. The Broncos had to go for the touchdown because on this broadcast, the field goal is worth only 3 points. And on fourth down from the 8-yard line, Morton threw it to the back of the end zone to Haven Moses, his second catch of the day for a touchdown. And now the Denver defense has to hang on. And we would assume, Larry, that Munson will have to be the quarterback for the Chargers since on the last series, Harris was on the bench with an ankle injury.
That's Moses' third catch in 2 weeks, too, because he had a touchdown catch last week. That was a 55-yard drive in 7 plays, and, of course, there was one very important penalty in there, and that was the pass interference on a third down play. The pass to Moses, and there was an interference ruled at the 30-yard line, and that kept the Bronco drive alive. San Diego made them earn every bit of it. That was a fourth down play, so it was 55-yard drive in 7 plays and the penalty.
Well, there were 3 penalties because there was also the holding penalty against the Broncos, and there was an offside. Denver had at one point a first and 20. Jim Turner will be kicking off for the Broncos.
Which would indicate that they don't want to kick it long and give them a return. I imagine it'll be a short variety along the ground.
Owens and Williams back at the same time, though. You want it deep enough so that the Chargers can't quickly work their way into field goal territory. And now Bernard Jackson runs out to talk to Turner. 1 minute and 36 seconds left. Broncos 17, Chargers 14. San Diego has 2 timeouts, and Denver has 1. Williams Artie Owens, wait at the 10-yard line. Turner kicks it high. It isn't all that deep. It will hit across the 20, and Owens has it at the 15-yard line, trying to run right. He's over the 25 and out to about the 33 or 4-yard line. So that's where the Chargers will get the ball. Jim Jensen was the first one down on the tackle.
Oakland has defeated Houston. That score is now final. Oakland 34, Houston 29.
Chargers start from the 34. Denver leading 17-14. Johnny Rogers, Dwight McDonald, and Charlie Joyner all at the line of scrimmage. Munson quarterbacking from the 34. Young and Washington are the setbacks. Munson looking on first down. Pass is intercepted. Tom Jackson, 45, 40, 35, drops the football, loses it inside the 20. The Broncos fall all over it, and it is Oakland. It is San Diego's ball. Jackson was running up the far side after the interception and fumbled the football, and it is recovered by the Chargers at the 18-yard line. So Tom Jackson gets credit for the interception. 2 turnovers on the play.
And an injured Charger.
Tom Jackson had a chance, if not all the way, to get it in very close to the goal line, and he is comforted now by Rizzo and Billy Thompson.
That's Munson who's down.
Munson on his side at the 30-yard line. That play took 10 seconds off the clock.
See what happened to Munson as he threw the ball. Looked like he was hit by Alzado from behind, and Jackson cut right out in front of the intended receiver and moves it down, just dropped the ball. No particular reason, just maybe looking over his shoulder to see where people were. Ran by it. Carter was coming over to try to get it. Rizzo did get it and threw it up into the air, and the man to whom it was originally intended ends up recovering the ball. It was Artie Owens.
And Larry, they've wasted no time. They already have a stretcher on the field, and Harris will have to limp back out and try to quarterback. They have Munson loaded on a stretcher and are taking him off the field immediately.
He's sitting up.
Harris banged up badly. Harris had 5 minutes to go and limping. Now their third quarterback, Cliff Olander, is one of their inactive players today. They have no other quarterback on the active roster. So the Chargers have first down at their own 18. Interception credited to Jackson, but a fumble charge to Jackson. 1 minute and 20 seconds left, and the Broncos with a 17-14 lead. And the Chargers 82 yards away, and a limping Harris out of the shotgun. Both receivers go left. Harris in the shotgun at the 10-yard line, takes the direct snap, gets the pressure, throws the pass, incomplete. It was intended at the 30-yard line for Pat Curran, tight end. Incomplete.
Chargers had to use a timeout on that injury, too, so they're down to 1 timeout remaining. Minute 16.
Oh, they wasted no time taking Munson to the locker room. Broncos trying to keep pace. Baltimore has won. Oakland has won. They're both 8-1. Chargers will be in Denver next to last game of the season. Shotgun again. Both receivers go left. Harris at the 10-yard line backs up a little bit as Swenson tackles him, and the pass is caught by Johnny Rogers at the 34-yard line. Swenson got to Harris just as he was releasing the ball, but he got rid of it, and Johnny Rogers makes the catch for a first down at the 33. And now the Chargers use a timeout because there's no way Harris can make it up quickly to the line of scrimmage and take a snap and stop the clock.
And that will be their final timeout with a minute to go. He completed the pass to keep the ball alive and keep the drive alive, picking up the first down, but it was out in the middle of the field. And obviously this is not part of the Chargers' game plan, a shotgun formation. And they are really scrambling around. In case you missed it a moment ago, Oakland has defeated Houston in a seesaw battle up in Oakland, 34-29. The only other game still going, Minnesota 42, Cincinnati 10. The Broncos coming up with a big touchdown pass to Moses, 17-14 lead right now over the Chargers. Going Minnesota 32, Cincinnati 10. The Broncos coming up with a big touchdown pass to Moses, 17-14 lead right now over the Chargers. Harris, 12 of 23 for 144 yards. Rogers has caught 3 now for 76 yards. Broncos' whole idea defensively now is just to make sure that the Chargers don't get the big play. Of course, if they can get in field goal range, field goal could tie the game and send it into overtime. The lights are on here as the sun has just about left the stadium.
And I don't know, Larry, what the Chargers would do in overtime.
I don't either.
Harris can barely make it to the line of scrimmage, and they're using the shotgun now. Munson is out. They have no other quarterbacks. They might as well put Joe Washington in. He has thrown the only touchdown pass. They could do worse. From the 33, first down. Harris in the shotgun, getting the pressure again, throws the pass upfield, and that one is broken up at the Bronco 45. Bernard Jackson, Billy Thompson converging on McDonald at the 45 to knock it away, and now 56 seconds to go. The Chargers have no more timeouts. They have a 2nd and 10 at their own 33.
Minnesota and Cincinnati now final. 42-10, the Vikings win.
This is turning into a long ball game. We had a lot of back and forth right before halftime. Took a lot of time off the clock, and we're getting it again. Still the shotgun. 2nd and 10 from the 33. Back to Harris. Pumps it. Throws it up the near side for Rogers. Incomplete at the Denver 35. Overthrew him. Thompson was back and Wright was back. Had Rogers made the catch, I think Thompson would have knocked him out of bounds immediately or tackled him immediately, but that would have started to get San Diego into field goal range.
Yes, it would have been down around the 35-yard line.
The Nurschkas had a 31-yarder blocked and just flat missed a 51-yarder.
Rogers has come out of the game now, and Larry Dorsey has replaced him.
3rd down 10. Chargers at their 33-yard line. Dorsey is wide to the right. Joyner left. They line McDonald up near the tight end spot. The 3rd down pass by Harris, and that one is batted down by Joe Rizzo and almost deflected to Gradishar. Now it is 4th and 10. And Joe Washington is hurt. Washington was the intended receiver, and he is hurt. And Larry, we've had bodies all over the field for both teams today. The Broncos had Paul Smith knocked out early with a knee. Upchurch was out for a while with a pull. He has been back in the game since. Howard has been in and out with injuries. Lytle was injured and then came back. And for the Chargers, they've had a couple of their defensive linemen in and out. Munson has gone off the field on a stretcher, and Harris, who was injured earlier, is back. And now it is Joe Washington who is down. Tommy Prothro comes out to check him. 4th and 10 Chargers at their own 33-yard line. 47 seconds left. Denver 17, San Diego 14. The Broncos getting ahead for the first time in the game. At 13:24 of the 4th, Morton to Moses, 8 yards, 55 yards in 7 plays and 3 penalties.
They continue to work on Washington. It appeared that maybe it was a hand or arm injury or something. He just was holding his hand up in front of his face, or a face injury. It didn't seem like there was any contact down there before the ball reached Rizzo and was knocked down. Washington is being helped to the sideline. Sort of holding that arm. 47 seconds to go. 4th and 10.
At their own 33. Chargers have Rogers back in. He's wide to the right. Joyner left. McDonald also at the line of scrimmage. Harris in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Is pressured. Throws the pass. Joyner makes the catch at the Bronco 45. First down. But the Chargers have no more timeouts. They are at the Bronco 45-yard line. And Harris, trying to come upfield, is still at his own 40-yard line, limping on that bad ankle. They've held the clock. 35 seconds to go. Now start the clock again.
Now it started.
First down at the Bronco 45, and Harris just throws the ball out of bounds on the far side and stops the clock with 28 seconds to go.
Well, this one is what you call that proverbial cliffhanger, as it's coming right down, and Harris on a 4th down play got the ball moving and realized that they would stop the clock to move the chains and limped as fast as he could up the field. Again, Rogers has come out, and Dorsey has gone in for the Chargers.
The Denver 45, 2nd and 10 for the Chargers, continuing out of the shotgun because of the injury to Harris's ankle. He just can't get back and set up. Harris looks, is pressured, throws as he is hit, and it's incomplete at the 40-yard line. Harris took his time, and Reuben Carter and Lyle Alzado were all there. So now, the incomplete pass does stop the clock. It bounced in front of Williams at the Denver 40-yard line, and it is 3rd down and 10 for the Chargers at the Bronco 45.
Now the Broncos are going to take, let's see, Carter comes out of the game, and Grant is in. Gradishar and Rizzo were both going to the sidelines, and they call them back, and somebody's got to leave because they have too many men. Manor's going to run off.
3rd and 10 at the 45-yard line. 21 seconds to go. Denver leading 17-14. And there is the deep pass upfield for McDonald. It is broken up as Bernard Jackson and Billy Thompson get in front of him at the 20-yard line and knock it away. Again, 4th down 10 for the Chargers at the Denver 45-yard line. And Larry, you have to admire the gutty display of James Harris out there.
You certainly do.
I would want to stand up and watch Lyle Alzado come into my face when I know that I had a bad ankle.
And now Joe Washington's back in the ball game. But Harris, with that ankle, has done an admirable job here.
4th and 10 Chargers. Denver 45-yard line. Broncos leading 17-14. There's the snap back to Harris on 4th down. The pressure, the pass, it is incomplete. Almost intercepted by Billy Thompson at the 25. The Broncos have held and take over on downs at their own 45-yard line. 12 seconds away from their 8th win of the year. And the Chargers have made them work for 60 minutes for it.
Yes, they certainly did, and it's a hard-earned victory for the Broncos, but the type, if you're going to go to the playoffs, the type of victory you've got to win, and the Broncos have done it. They came up with the key play in the clutch situations, and they scrambled around in this one. Not playing very well, but it's going to look just like they played it perfectly when it goes into the standings.
Craig Morton will take a dive with the ball, and it'll be over. He just kneels down at the 44-yard line, and that will be the final play of the game with 6 seconds to go. There are the Bronco fans counting it down. The Denver Broncos have beaten the San Diego Chargers, coming back with a touchdown with 1 minute and 36 seconds to play to win it 17-14. We'll be back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
Think happy, stay happy, have a happy day today. Work better, live better, the Capital Federal way. Make your money work for you. Want to do. Think happy, stay happy, the Capital Federal way. Think happy, stay happy, have a happy day.
A pass card account at Capital Federal lets you save at merchants all over town. You even get a 20% discount on dry cleaning just by showing your Capital Federal Savings Pass card at selected locations of gigantic cleaners.
Think happy, stay happy, the Capital Federal way.
Saving 20% on all your dry cleaning at gigantic cleaners is another way you get more for your savings with a Capital Federal Savings Pass card account.
As soon as the game was over, two really swell Charger fans down here in front of us have unveiled a long sign that says Prothrow must go. Oh, well. Broncos 17, Chargers 14, and it was a dogfight all the way. Denver was obviously not at the same kind of emotional preparation that they were for the Pittsburgh and the Oakland games, and the Chargers were. They really wanted this one, and they played the Broncos tough all the way. Denver made a serious mistake early, and the Chargers seized on it for some easy early points. At 5:33 of the first quarter, a pitchback fumbled by Perrin, recovered by Freddie Dean at the 11, and he took it to the end zone for the touchdown. Benershka kicked the extra point and made the score 7-0. Then Jim Turner kicked a 35-yard field goal. It was 7-3. Early in the second quarter, the Chargers were right back down there, but a 31-yard field goal attempt was blocked, leaving the score at 7-3. The Broncos, however, still had their problems with field position, and after a punt by Diltz, the Chargers started from their own 48, scoring in 4 plays, and it was on a flea flicker. Joe Washington taking a pitch back from Harris and throwing a 32-yard touchdown pass to Charlie Joyner, who was all by himself as he caught the ball at the 2-yard line and wandered into the end zone. Benershka kicked the extra point again, and it was 14-3 at the half. Then early in the third quarter, the Chargers attempted a 51-yard field goal that was no good. The Broncos went 66 yards in 9 plays after taking the ball over, and Morton threw a 33-yard touchdown pass to Haven Moses, the extra point by Turner, and it was 14-10. Denver struggling, just could not get the offense moving consistently in the fourth quarter. Got the ball at the 45-yard line and went the distance in 7 plays and 3 penalties, and the penalties were big both ways. There was a pass interference penalty called on the Chargers that moved the Broncos down to the 30-yard line, but when Denver was at the 13, they got a holding penalty that moved them back to the 23, and with the ball at the 8-yard line, 4th down and about 4.5 yards to go, Morton threw to Haven Moses at the back of the end zone, the second Morton to Moses touchdown of the afternoon, Turner's extra point, and the score was 17-14. It wasn't over. The Chargers then started from deep in their own territory, and Munson threw a pass that was intercepted by Tom Jackson. He returned the ball inside the 25-yard line, just flat dropped it. It bounced away from him, and the Chargers recovered at the 18 on the play. Munson was injured, had to be taken off the field on a stretcher, and James Harris, who had injured an ankle earlier, had to come back out, and throwing from the shotgun, he got the Chargers to the Bronco 45 when they ran out of downs and time, and Denver got the 17-14 win to go 8-1 and remain tied for first with the Raiders in the Western Division. We'll talk about next week when we come back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.